Chinese, Japanese,
And
Korean.
we're live.
All right, welcome to the Gunter City Council emergency meeting. It's Thursday, May 21st, from the Public Safety Building at 105 North 4th. I'm going to add to this, we have a lot of Centurion American, Fraser Capital, and BNSF that still has to go through probably August-ish. I know we've got opinion letters that need to be written to. It would be nice to retain her to do that since she's been for you guys to decide that it may go beyond the 30 days. But she will only be on those projects.
I'll make a motion to approve on that one.
Okay, so we
Or open for discussion.
I'll second.
Alan in the second.
Well, I mean, I think we settled that last night, and I'm not even sure we actually have any legal authority to even have an emergency meeting right now, so I think it's kind of a good point.
We're going to take a
Mayor
vote.
discussion.
So, yeah,
We
wait a minute.
can't, is there citizen comments on this agenda?
We can hear anything.
We can't hear. Sorry.
Okay, so Alan in the second, all in favor? Opposed?
Opposed?
4-1, and motion carries. All right, we are gonna close the emergency meeting at 6:03. We're gonna open up our second meeting for church number 3, Platinum Ranch. And we go to agenda item number 1, discuss, consider, take action on the board of directors for the tax increment reinvestment zone number 3.
So, one of the three emails that we received, well, there's three packets and
Just
two
the
emails.
TERS meeting, not the council.
Your church board
This
right
is
now.
church 3 meeting because we're the church board of Platinum Ranch Church. So this is to approve the financing plan. It's in your packet.
I hope that was a presentation that was up there earlier. But by and large, I mean, the church packet was put in your packets that were delivered to you. That's why your delivery is so thick. Church. But if there's any questions in particular on it, and if I can get this to come up, I do have the time frame and the percentages of it, but the church consultants and everyone are here to answer any of your questions that you have.
On Friday from Detroit. There's number 3 and number 4.
So church 4 is the first one, correct?
Well,
Or church 3, I mean.
Yeah.
Technology's great till it isn't. Okay. So that's the Platinum Ranch one, that's the church area. It's plus or minus 1,941 acres. It's based off of 33.37% for 40 years. This is some of the, this is all in the document. These are see, so it's project costs. And, oops, it's not changing, is it? Oh, that's just wonderful. Oh, there's that, yeah,
Mentioned in the city council work session. On Friday. All 4 of them.
Yeah, I don't really know what to do, but you guys, you have the exhibits that I'm talking about there in there. I just parsed them out so that we could kind of maybe show the audience, but since this thing isn't wanting to cooperate with me, I don't know that I necessarily can. That's okay.
Is that a statement for you?
Yeah, well, it's not the first slide, the rest of it won't.
And it had about 43 pages, 53 pages. Right, 53. Yeah. Yeah.
Jordan, it's gonna be you. There's the overall area of it, which is now what's known as Platinum Ranch 1. As you recall, it was combined with what was formerly known as Cricket Cross Platinum Ranch. This is the primary fiduciary things and the non-project costs and the applicants. I mean, George here can explain anything else that you have questions on as to maybe why the years that it is or the percentage and those types of things. If you have questions, technical questions like that, he can answer them.
I'm Jordan Sawyer. I'm the regional director out here in North Texas. I represent the city and work for the city as a PID and TERS administrator. And so really what is before you tonight, final plan 3, which is, which is the Platinum project. We just talked about a little under 2,000 acres that has been annexed into the city as part of this TERS process. What we're doing tonight and what is in front of the TERS board, and I know it's fun to wear multiple hats. In this moment, you were the TERS board. You had that back in December when this TERS was created. So at the time we approved the TERS back in December, this preliminary plan was approved. The only thing that has changed in this preliminary plan from what y'all, or in this final plan from what y'all saw back in December, is the word on the front says final. The reason for that is in order to flow funds through the TERS, you need to have a final plan. So no changes to what has been approved previously as part of the TERS board for this specific project. So happy to answer your questions there.
So I'm gonna ask some questions because there's so much stuff going through.
Yeah.
How they're gonna do it, like lay the concrete, lay the or anything. This is just.
Yeah, this is just a TERS plan, and I can back up a little bit. The way a TERS works is it's more or less just a line on the map, and in that area, the city is basically saying any growth in that area that generates more revenue than what was collected previously is going to be treated a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really in here we're not a because TERSs are really performative. And so the goal is if the developer builds a quality product and it has a lot of value add, that TERS value gets added in and is able to come back out.
Okay. I guess basically I'll just ask the main question. There's no temporary attached plant that's in this agreement for this TERS that we're doing.
Try to add any more confusion. This one also has a PID the other one does too. So you might be thinking of the infrastructure improvements are paid for by the PID, and there is performance of actually installing infrastructure in a PID.
Okay. That's why I'm just going to start asking that question every time.
That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Perfect.
And just so I'm understanding,
Yes,
you
sir.
said this final plan is identical in every way to the previous one, with the exception of the word final?
Yeah, what was updated was we went from preliminary to the final. There was no other changes from there.
Okay, so we've made no changes.
Yeah, it was approved back in December.
Right.
Yeah.
Motion?
Use that one.
First? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. 5-0. And the next one is discussing and take action on authorizing the 380 agreement between the TERS board and M&M Platinum Ranch LLC.
Same thing, really.
Ditto.
Yeah. So we get to TERS 4. That's good. Yeah, I know.
I'd be there.
There's nothing else.
No, I didn't know if you had presentation there. So I'm happy to do that. So this second item for the TERS board, again, in this fun scenario, you all wearing the TERS board 3 hats. We're about to put on a TERS 4 hat. For the TERS 3, the way that was, the dollars that are collected within the TERS, like we said, if the developer performs, adds value, tax increment is generated. The way that is used is to fund a 380 agreement between the city, the TERS board, and the developer. This is the form of the agreements that have been attached to the development agreement, with I think some updates to add in some language to make sure it qualifies under Chapter 380, based on conversations with the development attorney and the city attorney at that time.
That's a good question. I know this is not development agreement, but are we ever gonna get a changed map where they're gonna show that one entrance on the west side more?
We did,
more?
it's shown on, you'll see it on the plat, it's been
On the
shifted.
plat? Okay, because I know those neighbors across, they were really.
It's been shifted on the plat, and civil plans that we're looking at right now for phase one.
All right, perfect. I can't wait to see them. And I'm pretty sure they can't wait either.
If they want to see it, they can come by my office and I'll show them the plans, they can see there's anything.
So the 380 agreement is new.
This is not something that the TERS board, that y'all have considered previously the TERS board.
We haven't seen it before.
It was approved as part of the development agreement for Platinum as a form. So it was previously sent over, the city attorney at the time sent that over, for purpose of the agenda package.
Other than establishing the TERS, does it do anything else? Because I haven't had a chance to read it.
The 380 agreement?
Yes.
So the 380 agreement is an obligation, again, that was approved back as part of the development agreement, that essentially says the dollars that the TERS is putting into the TERS fund can be used as an economic development agreement back with the developer. So Chapter 380, and again, I'm speaking as a TERS administrator, I'm not an attorney in this role. Chapter 380, the way it's normally used is it is a economic development agreement incentive plan between the city and the developer. So here, it is using those dollars that went into the TERS fund up to a cap of about 157 million that can go back over to the developer as part of the economic development agreements in connection with the annexation of that property and the development that's coming there.
And that's 380 in the tax code.
I believe,
Yes.
Which code?
I think it's a local government code. Yeah. Yeah, it's under the Constitution and 380 local government code.
So what could they use those funds for?
Yeah, so
From a 380 agreement?
So once those dollars are given back over to the developer, it's really tied to what they're required to put in, but those dollars are going back over to the developer as long as they're in the performance of all the obligations of the development agreement, and as long as they are qualifying under Section 104 of that agreement. I think you may have in front of you. Those set forth what they have to do in order to get the funds. But once those funds are paid out, that is a economic development grant to the developer at that point. There's not a specific thing in here that is limiting it, other than what 380 would otherwise specifically limit it. Originally on.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So can you do a TERS without a 380 agreement?
Yeah. And TERS is the kind of the two main flavors you see of TERSs are you either use those dollars to offset a PID assessment.
The agreement that we're proposing here, what does it actually accomplish? Does it interact with the PID? Does it?
This one does not interact with the PID. It really is. I'll clarify. It interacts with the PID in that in order for the developer to get this grant, it would have to comply with all the terms of the development agreements, which includes all the obligations that are set forth in the PID. Specifically, that it has to construct the water, sewer, roadway infrastructure on the face-by-face basis.
And doesn't the development agreement also already require that? Or is
Yes, that's right.
So is it enforcing what's in the development agreement?
Yeah, it's essentially a different mechanism to enforce that. If somebody is, the way I believe your development agreement, but again, not acting as the attorney in this role, and I know we got a signed copy of that. The development agreement, if you are not in compliance there, you would have to go through and make compliance with that. Here it is actually a separate, if you are not in compliance with the development agreement, you're turning off the spigot for that 380 grant.
And who will be investigating and making sure they're in compliance with that?
Yeah, so that's really gonna be every time they would submit a payment request, it would be in accordance with usually the city inspector or engineer to work through that. And I don't know, Eric, if you know that.
So they'll go through and they'll say, hey, they're requesting this pay, and they're saying that they put this infrastructure in. So then I'll go get with the inspector or and actually complete those inspections. We're not accepting it yet until the whole subdivision is done and the bond and stuff starts, but we'll see. So we've had several already a few already, like on the bridges, when they want something. And then they'll send it to us and we'll look up and go, yeah, they've completed that part of it, you can release those funds.
And just so I'm tracking, this has a TERS PID and the agreement for this
Well,
development.
the 380 agreement is sort of like attached to all of it.
Yeah, I get it.
But yes, that's how it's as well.
Yeah.
And the 380 is the reason it's in front of y'all as the TERS board, and again, that's the role right now. The reason it's in front of y'all is the funding mechanism for the 380 is those TERS dollars that were approved as part of the final plan. So really, you're basically saying, hey, if you are performing in a way that is consistent with the TERS plan and those TERS dollars are coming over, you can get some of those dollars back up to that cap that was part of the development agreement originally.
It's a lot of incentive, 157 million. Make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Well, I'd like to read the agreement before we go any further. Is it possible to wait on this a couple of weeks? Is there a pressing need to get it done now?
I believe it was part of the next steps of the PID transaction and that's spoke to the funding transaction.
So, I mean, is it gonna hold up anything?
I don't know that I can speak too well on that. I from the city's perspective, it's going to necessarily, we would have to move back a lot of our timelines for all the PID pieces.
Which includes bonding and.
Yeah.
I'm reading chapter 380 and it's pretty broad and pretty short.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why this 380 agreement specifically has the performance obligations. That's what they have to do, and that's really that 104 is a section that would control that.
Well, there's a motion on the table. I'll just vote no. We can move on.
Okay.
All right, so we'll move on, the motion carries. We're gonna close the TERS 3 board at, board meeting at 6:20. We're gonna open up TERS number 4, Taylor Ranch. And the first agenda item is the approval of the finance reinvestment zone project plan financing plan for Taylor Ranch.
And so this is TERS 4 Taylor Ranch. It's 497.52 acres thereabouts. It's at 33.37% for 40 years. Right now, they have actually moved a little further along on this one and actually have the appraisal done on it. But there's going to be, we know that they're already have a takedown schedule with Beezer Homes and Crescent Estate Custom Homes for at least phase 1, which is on the right, surrounded in red. And this is kind of, I don't know if everybody can read that really well, but it has kind of down schedule of all the lots, of the 649 lots that are proposed in there. There's the 60 foot and 180 foot and 100 foot lots in this particular development. Background going back to what was already approved, developer agreement, and that we're looking at their platting right now. So, and here are their non-project costs and then the actual project costs of the total thing, and then everything else, if you have your same questions, Jordan can answer the same questions, or if you have any other specific ones, it's all basically the same thing as the previous one you just saw. Different numbers, obviously, because it's different. A lot smaller projects.
Yeah.
Mayor, council, really, I should say mayor, members of the TERS board. Here, very similar. This is a Taylor project. Here, again, as you saw, numbers capped about 47 million is the cap from the development agreement that's been incorporated here. Again, this is the final plan that is an update to the preliminary plan that was approved back in December. I'm more than happy to Councilmember Stevens, I'm more than happy to also send over any red lines just of what has been approved, so you all can see that, but it really is just a change to the final. So happy to answer questions specifically on TERS number 3 here, or TERS number 4 here.
Questions?
No, I have no questions.
Make a motion to approve.
Have the first approved?
I'll second.
Alan, the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Number 2, that's the 380 agreement that's attached to this TERS law.
Same item here, it's the same terms of those development agreements I know about, same term of the 380 agreement. This is form as part of, and I'm touching this thing, which I know is what's making it jump. That was approved as part of the development agreement for Taylor as a form. The language is, again, just been updated to make sure it complies with 380 based on work with the city attorney and the developer attorney. Same obligations, same limitations. The main difference, as you noted, board member, is that there is the cap comes in here at 47 million.
Motion to approve. Second.
Have the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Did you say the cap changed?
No, that compared to the previous
To the
one.
other TERS.
So that the cap is never changed for specific. And again, the platinum one that we just talked about. So that's really if you were to run a red line between those documents, that number's different. The total cap there. Yep. Thank you for
Aye.
Yes.
Unanimous? All right. We're going to close the TERS floor board meeting and we will open up our, at 6:25. We're going to open up our regular council meeting. It is May 25th, 5 Mark Street, Public Safety Building. All notices will be posted and we'll have a forum with everybody in attendance. We're going to open up with our invocation and our pledge of allegiance.
For life today and the day that you bless us with. We're thankful, Father, for all the many things that you provide to us each and every day, our health and the prosperity we have. Pray for the town, Father. We pray that you will lift us up and help us to grow in a way that will unify this community. I pray a special prayer for Bill, Alan, Patrick, Karen, Wade, and William. I pray that, Father, that you bless them with wisdom, knowledge they need to lead this town and to realize the importance of where we want to be in the future. Father, I thank you so much for your love and your grace.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Citizen comments. And I have 6 signed up. So Dawn Anderson, you're first. Are you planning to each other? Oh, yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna let Jeannie go first.
Okay, yeah, you're both signed up. So name and address for the record, please.
Since I'm short, I have to bring it down to my level. I'm Jeannie Anderson, 102 Falls Creek, Gunter, Texas. Here it's better than mine. Thank you.
Thank you, council, for the privilege to speak to all of you. Because as you can see, I too have been in the same position as you are now. William, I have sat in the very same seat you hold today. And yes, it is an honor to hold a position as an alderman, because the citizens of Gunter have placed their trust in us and our opinion. By living here in these United States, we have more rights than any, but that does not give us the right to be disrespectful and honor the position, if not the person. Your conduct this last year has been rude and atrocious to the council as well as the citizens of Gunter. And I myself am tired of your outbreaks. If you have a comment or question, ask it. Do not interrupt whoever is speaking. You are in our city hall, not a courtroom. You privileges, but it doesn't. Not here, it doesn't. You are only one of 5 aldermen who all have opinions, and everyone should respect each other and their opinions. In the past 18 years, I have sat through numerous city hall meetings, and I've held many different honorable positions in my lifetime. But I have never, ever seen an alderman carry on with the tirades and bullying that you have displayed. You remind me of a spoiled child who can't get his way, therefore has a temper tantrum. I have noticed many times your lack of information of the posted agenda. I understand that you have a
I will pray for you.
other things which I'm raising taxes. They have renegotiated the TERS contract. In conjunction with 3 members of the new council are working to destroy the city government so they can be reinstalled. At least that's what it appears to be. Yesterday's meeting about the loss of the city term. That loss was due to the action. Shut the fuck up. Questions and do.
Next up, thank you. I have Mark Mayor.
Madam Mayor, may I make this announcement to the audience? Ladies and gentlemen, I would please ask you to refrain and be respectful for one another and know that there's ladies and children in the audience, please. Thank you.
Merrill, 71 Mauer Court. Thank everybody for being here tonight. I'm glad to see that we have a full council, and I'm glad that y'all are allowing me to address you. It's on the council. Have all of you completed your TML training for Open Meetings Act as required by state law? Because last night's meeting was posted, and it was posted. That makes any action, it cannot be removed. It cannot be rescinded. At the end of the meeting, and a comment was made again this evening during the first meeting that was held, the emergency one, by a council member who said, we took action on that last night. It's right there in the handbook in place. Any posted meeting that is canceled
you are required to they want to be at the meeting to speak to any subject that is on the agenda. By canceling that parking lot before I even got to the door where it was posted in red letters, I was told by 3 people that the meeting had been canceled and I should. That, and then you hold the meeting like you're telling the citizens to leave the hour, which again would be improper posting. So I urge you to actually follow the state statutes and only take the powers that you are given under those statutes to hold the meeting outside of this room. Unless you're in executive session, any agenda item or business is to be conducted. Do it in conjunction with a conversation of a talks to Bill about the same subject, or Wade talks to Patrick about the same subject, or Alan about the same subject, or even the mayor about the same subject. You have created a walking quorum. You don't have to all 3 be talking to each other. So, the citizens deserve the transparency, and y'all have been asking for things to come out of the executive session to be held here, and I highly encourage that. But to discuss things and policies and ideas of getting rid of people prior to a meeting and going through, asking questions and asking to have cause a resignation of a city attorney through threat is not acceptable. And as a matter of fact, I believe it's probably a violation of multiple laws in the state. But the TOMA violation and the meeting that was held yesterday is definitely a violation of state law. And as an attorney, I would think that at least one of the council members would realize that and not want to be put in a position where he knowingly and willingly violated the state statutes and the oath of office that he took. And I will leave it at that. Thank you very much for your comment.
Way longer. Dave Lewis is up next.
David Lewis at 1096 Fox Lane. Mayor and Council, I should not be placed in a position where they are pulled between 2 masters, the mayor on one side and members of the council on the other. It is unfair to them, unfair to the public, and harmful to the functioning of the city. The recent election to move toward a city manager form of government underscores that point. City employees need clear lines of authority, back in disagreements exist on the council level. Staff should not be made that battlefield. The staff should hear and see one voice, the combined voice of the people of Gunter, channeled through their elected officials. Men and women will move mountains if you so direct, but not. Gunter cannot thrive indefinitely as a divided city government. Difference is healthy. Dissent should be. Division is raw, emotional, and destructive. Strong and solve most problems. The problems that cannot be solved that way should be fought over openly in public spaces where the citizens can see them, understand them, and hold everybody accountable. That, here and now, is the proper place for political disagreement, not in staff directives, not in procedural confusion, and not in conflict. In open meetings on recorded for posterity here. Finally, I want to address transparency. Transparency is best understood not as a buzzword or a deep of operation because it keeps everyone public, but it also protects elected officials and staff from suspicion. Channel available to before a properly noticed meeting was to be held. Notices were posted on the door, on the city's official website, and elsewhere online that a special meeting of May 20th, 2026 had been canceled. I did not attend that meeting because I relied on that cancellation notice, and I am not alone. The issue is not simply whether the meeting was originally called, and there can be an extended argument about whether the cancellation was proper, or whether the council could have or should have met yesterday on Facebook and at the building. The public had a right to rely on that. Even if the cancellation were improper, the cure was not to proceed in a way where the public was left confused and divided. I'm out of time. Thank you.
Lynn Edwards.
Members of the council, my name is Glenn Edwards. I spoke about this issue, the Broken Bow drainage ditch improvements, last time in town hall setting, not a formal council meeting. But I want to express tonight some concerns that I still have. I've lived there at 101 Broken Bow for 24 years. I'm at the bottom of the hill, so to speak. Water flows east to west, goes out to Preston Road. A lot of times it floods Preston Road. It's flooded my backyard many times. Perhaps due to improper drainage management. The city funded a site study, and I think it was 2021. They updated in May of 2020. I got delivered a copy of that about 1 hour before a Property Owners Association meeting last Tuesday. And I have some serious concerns about it. Some common sense concerns, because the water is being directed to turn waist deep water during an infrequent gully washer, but to turn 90 degrees and then go north between my house and my neighbor's house. Now, they abandoned the property and utility on my house, right through my aerobic septic tank, and they moved it to 20 yards over to my neighbor's property. He signed that, agreed to it. But the water, even without the drainage ditch improvements, it goes through a very narrow series of two culverts and then goes across Broken. Okay, it will jump the bank. And according to Texas water statute, I'm not an attorney, I'm a retired FBI agent, but it will flood my backyard and will incur, although the council normally has limited financial ability, you will have taken my property, my backyard, and damaged my property. Moving forward, I have serious doubts as to the viability of the program. I'm not an engineer, but I will tell you that I'm learning in Denton to make sure that they're fully aware of the facts of this case. And should the project
Adam, I thought we'll have to talk about this afterwards. Can we just approve that?
What? That was something that came up.
About it, okay.
I just wanted to say again that, this drainage problem has been going on for about 8 years. It's been especially bad the last 4 years. There are about 6 homes on our street that are affected, but mine has to fix it. It has taken 4 years to get to where we are today. You have already approved doing the work. I was going to bring a change order to you tonight, and I just ask that you please approve the change order. The work has already started several weeks ago. In my backyard, they dug for 2 days. I'm just asking, I know they're taking another word, so my home can not flood in good condition. Thank you.
Services report. Adam, do you have a report for us tonight?
Yes. As discussed later, there was an item in executive session. We can't have an executive session, so what I just asked the council is if that pulls out into the public session later on tonight. That's my hope anyway. Got all of staff together, including our vendors and literally department of staff, and we did a Teams call with Madame A Homes. It was very productive because that was the one area we had not captured yet, figuratively and literally, about establishing guidelines for builders to utilize our roll-offs as opposed to private roll-offs. So it was an important meeting because not only did it secure this with Madame A Homes, and we arrived at a process going forward that will be repeatable for all builders in all the phases of the bridges, Platinum Ranch, all of that. And so it was a big success because it established the last thing we were trying to get done. So that was a success, and I was really proud of them. Also, my plan is to have a summary to council in July concerning trash operations. We will have June will have been 6 months, and we'll be passing through or making cars move sort of toward the middle so it's both spacing and visibility challenge. I'm having my staff. We've already done it if you live in the woods, you will have seen a couple arches that form over your road there. We've brought those arches up to about 17 feet, so everything can go under them now. And I'm just going to say right now, in case anybody wonders, I've said it before, I have a little bit of a Mayberry-esque approach to this. If the staff can do it and I don't have to do a third-party contractor, it's really a pretty quick operation to ensure that the buses can go through. So we're going to do that. We can handle. So we're doing that right now. And there's several roads that we'll be addressing. I've met with homeowners. I meet with a homeowner before I start touching branches that are actually over a right-of-way or street, but just to let them know what we're going to do. Trying to tackle roads internally when possible. This last week we shut down Reed Lane. I've talked with a couple people, especially Mrs. Cohen, about extremely narrow as it approached the tracks. So dug that entire culvert out, repacked it. I got from a contractor was over $40,000. I think we talked about it last night. I think when we're done with this, it'll cost us a little over $5. So we repacked this. We still have one more operation where we're going to run hot patch asphalt over it. It was within the scope of our limited operations. That's about the most we can do on a road. But like I said, it was a success, and so to make that road safer, and we'll also be putting stop signs on either side of the track. I believe it's the only crossing that doesn't have stop signs on it. Just FYI, we heard this morning in our meeting with the school district, which was not expected, that the price of asphalt has now exceeded concrete because of oil. That was that was done by the engineer, so I've got that in my hands. I was going to give it to you tonight as a party gift, but the way the engineers did this, I'll probably send you an electronic copy. Autry on pipe. I'm going to talk with the engineer tomorrow to see if there's a way. There's a couple specs I think I can adjust that will still satisfy the job. The original wait time was 7 weeks. It's still at about 3 weeks right now, and so I'm going to see if I can speed that up. And the meets next Tuesday, and there's been some meetings I think that weren't held or something, but we're on track now, and so the MDD, there's items on there because we can't. The MDD attorney rectified a couple things for us, and then you'll be, as a council, hopefully passing a couple resolutions on your June 4th meeting, and then that will allow us to move forward with phase 2, which we've been waiting to do. That's all I have.
Thank you, Adam. Eric, do you have anything?
I have plenty of other stuff I'll
All
give
of
you
these
next
are
week.
the,
or
okay,
next
it's all
week.
yours. Okay. Mayor Alderman report, I have a couple of things. So, one is that they sold the home on Stonebridge. We were able to collect, we had placed a lien on it because we had to do the demo. And we collected our $25,000 back. So that's good, that's complete. Go back into the fund and pay for all the, pay the interest. And included interest. And then I want to share that our police chief, you just had an audit with T-Cole, and you had a perfect score. And you'll be able to build upon that. So, absolutely, great job, and very, very nice. That was exciting to see this week.
Thank you.
Thank you, back. Okay, I don't have anything else unless you guys do. Okay, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Project meetings A through F with previous meetings, including an MDD financial report meeting. Motion to approve.
No?
I make approve the consent agenda.
Okay, I have the first to approve.
Second.
The second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, unanimous? Discuss, consider, and act upon appointing Mayor Pro Tem and authorizing the signatory at Simmons Bank along with the mayor. That is consent.
Make a motion to approve. Sorry, I make a motion to approve the mayor pro tem as well as the mayor and the city secretary to authorize as signatories at Simmons Bank.
So this is to appoint Mayor Pro Tem. We do this every year, so we keep it on.
Are you getting thrown into the curve? No.
I'm just going into approve.
Yeah, I was just,
Okay.
the way I.
You're opening it
Right.
for us to talk
We'll
about.
work on this
missing meetings.
Okay, so I have Pat with the first.
I'll second to
All right, and
open.
then wait to open for discussion.
Do we want to play paper, rock, scissors for?
I like the straws.
Well, I'll tell you, whoever it is needs to be available quite a bit. So I lean on Alan a lot. Checks are on Wednesday, and a lot of times I'm out in the community and I get. I'll need you, whoever it is.
Do we want to play paper, rock, scissors?
Number 1 through 10.
Well, you've already done
I
it.
make a motion for Wade to be.
Sure, I'll second.
First, to appoint Ray, and Pat with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any
You
opposed?
can make it.
I'll say, all right.
That's as long as you're able to accept the responsibility.
Yep.
So that carries unanimously, welcome, congrats. All right, number 7, discuss consider act on ordinance, and this is approving the final tax increment reinvestment. So, finance plan that we just did as the board, now we're doing it, it's coming to us as council.
Make a motion to approve
Alan will first,
with the TERS board.
the finance plan,
I'll second it.
do the second, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous, move on to number 8.
I need to, this is the TERS, so I do have to give this out of the ordinance. It's 2026-05.
Thank you. Number 8, this is approving the, same thing as the finance plan, but it's for total, Alan, the second on favor? Move on to number 9.
Wait,
Sorry. No, I cruised through, I know
no,
you
you're
want
fine.
to.
2026-01-21-02.
What? You need to speak up.
Okay.
Say yes or no.
Number 9, this is a resolution authorizing the aid agreement that is attached to the TERS number 3 for just
think they did a great job. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Alan, the first, Pat was the second, all in favor?
Aye.
And the resolution number is 2026-05-21-1.
Thank you. Number 10, this is the resolution authorizing the agreement on the tourism hotel.
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Pat first,
I'll second.
Alan was second, all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number is 2026-05-21-2.
Thank you. Approving a preliminary service assessment plan, including a proposed assessment role, following a proposed assessment with the city secretary, making it available for public June 18th. Property PID and directing staff to publish and mail all the notices for the public hearings.
Make a motion to discuss.
I'll second.
Pat, first, Leslie, second.
Wait, do you have any questions?
Is there a temporary batch plan?
I'm going to defer. Is there a temporary batch plan?
Maybe. No,
Thank you.
they're already done. They're getting ready to accept the subdivision.
I'm gonna ask
Next
that
week.
every time from here on.
That's why I made a motion to
Yes.
discuss, so you
Thank
can
you,
ask
sir.
yourself.
Do you want? Excuse me. What the process against phases? This is 1B, but it came second. It has confused all of my computers and everything that I work with to keep calling it that right. But tonight it is a resolution that basically accepts this and says we are setting forth a cost of just about $10.2 million and calling for a hearing at that July meeting, at that June 18th meeting, where you'll have a public hearing to consider levying a little under $6.5 million. So that other difference of about $3 million, as you said, is already in the ground and has already been paid by the developer.
No other questions?
Anybody else have any questions? Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Okay, Pat first.
I'll second.
Bill was second, all in favor?
Aye.
I think you explained this before, but maybe
Yeah.
summarize that real quick. It's,
Yeah, and I'm happy to, speaking just as an administrator based on my prior experience and not as an attorney, what this agreement is essentially the Chapter 270 of the Local Government Code, which is the PID Act, allows the city to use PID assessments and proceeds of bonds secured by those PID assessments to pay for improvements that are either owned by the city or owned by a third party that's authorized by the city. That's either owned by the city or is owned by a third party that's authorized by the city. The interlocal agreement is the standard method by which the city authorizes somebody else to own it. I believe this similar agreement was what was used in the 2A for the improvements that are within Bridges 1B that will be owned and operated by Mustang Side.
I have no
do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Alan first approved.
I'll second.
Bill was second, all in favor? Any opposed? I think that was unanimous. Number 13, discuss decision act on a preliminary plat for President Field Estates since 2019, located in the city of Gunter and the Gunter PTJ.
All right, let's see how the technology wants to rest in my head right now.
I'm kind of curious, where is the city over there? Okay.
Jordan, are you leaving?
Yeah.
I'll bring it to Taylor.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
All right.
Thank you, Jordan.
Mayor Council, and church board members.
Thank you.
Ready? All right. So this is a preliminary plat. We're kind of working on this for probably about 8 months. But she's recently spoken. I think she's probably actually submitted to annex into the city. Just my great negotiating skills and the fact that she might be asking for a PID. And I said there would be no way ever for us to be able to do a PID unless you annexed in. So she's been talking to us about doing that, but you'll notice the layout on this, you might see that little bulbous thing right about the midway on the cul-de-sac. That's because our fire code require the maximum depth of the dead end cul-de-sac is 400 feet. So to kind of work around that, they have to do a midpoint turnaround, and the rest of it can get up to the end of the cul-de-sac. But again, it's all 1 acre lots, so that'll make some folks happy. And
Thank you, Eric.
well,
That's fine.
I told you I had some coming your way. So right now it's just a point plat, but all the engineering plans will still be being reviewed, and then Mustang Sud obviously is reviewing their sewer and water plans. There's just a little bit of a close-up of it, I guess. It meets all the subdivision rules and regulations and P&Z. We haven't spoken to that about that. I don't know. I doubt it. On something this size, probably won't.
And you're saying this property is
It's currently in ETJ, but I'm trying to convince her that she needs to be in the city. But again, she still has to go through final plating as well. But and I don't know. They're working their numbers right now, but she's kind of indicated to me that they, might pursue asking for, might see a pretty slim developer agreement, I think, come forward in order to annex in, even though if we annex right now, would come in, normally when we annex in, the placeholder is SF1, and she's basically SFE, because she's 1 acre lots. But in order to get some guarantees or something that she could be considered. So it's not like we're going to give technically.
Is there a guesstimate on price points?
Yeah, probably about 900 to 1.1 million. That's what they're kind of doing right now to see whatever, but that's typically, we've been talking to other developers that are doing, the other ones and these on trying to talk to why, what the cost is. You could kind of shock the cost of the 1 acre one is quite a bit more. And I don't think she's doing it for a specific builder like most other developers like Centurion American and Fraser Capital. They normally have in the hopper working with it. And if you read the PID appraisals, you'll see that they have specific builders listed in there and their takedown schedule. Take down in a certain time frame. And that's why when they start getting on the projects and stuff, they're really hot on us to stay on the inspections and keep their contractors going. And sometimes why they like to use temporary concrete back plants, because that helps expedite that process. And because they do have very strong commitments with those.
Preliminary plat, has there been any flood studies or anything done
for lots? And then they had to do a traffic threshold assessment since it comes out on the road, and I don't think it require any turn lanes or anything like that.
the land look?
it is flat land.
It is flat land.
It's like farmland and it slopes to the back, there
Yes.
to the north.
Okay. Slopes to the black back, and just north of that is where Grace and Five has already acquired their property by one of the creeks. And what we're gonna see is there is other lots. They originally started splitting them up into 20 plus acres, which this is. So it's possible that this could start me having neighbors.
We won't get delayed, that's fine.
Function, they have to meet all the.
Would there, I know it's a preliminary plat, but are their roads gonna look like the Meadows roads, or are they actually gonna be a little bit?
You'll never see the meadow roads as long as my watch is here, because those are 22-foot pavement with no curb and gutters. This is a standard pavement, 50-foot right of way, 32 back-to-back curb. For sure.
Where's the water go on the curb?
We do have two large bar ditches that run.
I'll have to go look. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and look. I think it's pipe actually, because if it is at least 36-foot or 35-foot pavement, we'll never do a 22-foot pavement like that again. Although our ordinance technically allows that in SFE right now until we get it amended, but no one's going to do it because we can keep it from happening.
Propane.
We don't talk about that. Idea. Sending water that it'll be on for for sewer.
Yeah, 81 acres.
But, no, we did, we just, they have will serve letters from Mustang Stud, and as far as franchise utilities and stuff like that, they'll have to work with that on their own to get it. But again, we use that, since we don't have sewer and water as leverage, we do remind people that, there is a fire district that you might want to think about. And that's another reason why she's potentially thinking about annexing in. So.
I'll make the motion.
William, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All the renditions of those people
I'll be
getting
that
their
person.
And number 14, ordinance for zoning change request from land development to revised land development for BNSF. So this went to be.
Okay, so you don't want to read all
No,
that?
I'm not gonna read all that. I was thinking,
Okay.
because this is part of, following through with the agreement, the new agreement, and we knew that we had to have zoning, and then we go through annexation.
Yeah,
And
this is,
it's on.
this is, quite frankly, it's not like a typical zoning change. I mean, we already have the contract zoning and stuff that was established by the developer agreement.
Right.
All this, that's why the packet was also so, because we included the approved developer agreement and the amendment to the developer agreement. So everybody that doesn't have it and doesn't remember could read through again. But the ordinance, the DA is attached as part of the ordinance. It was written by the city attorney and myself, so that's in there. But this is the exhibit that was in the DA, so that it all includes the service rail that goes through there, all the required buffers that we went back and forth on, and then of course the land uses that aren't shown on here but are in the developer agreement. Lists all the potential types of land uses and where they can go, especially the ones on the south part that y'all just restricted a little bit more on what they could be. On the zoning change, of course, we just show the major areas. You can see the areas in brown right now. What's in green is in the ETJ still, but the developer agreement still, contemplates and talks about within 36 months of the approval of the developer agreement, which was in January 2020. But ETJ, as per the developer agreement, still meets our zoning or the land uses that were established in there. So there's kind of a uniqueness to it with that county, but knowing that they're going to annex in, part of the agreement, as y'all might recall, was to anything that is still in the ETJ acts like, from a land use standpoint, that it's in the city already. And then P&Z saw this, we went through it. A lot of them obviously weren't aware of all of it, so there was a lot of questions on it. Unfortunately, the P&Z, not unfortunate, but the P&Z meetings aren't recorded, but they ask a ton of questions, went over stuff. So even though that it's kind of an administrative function that zoning typically isn't, we answered all the questions that we could, and we shared the developer agreement with them too, so they can see what that looks like. And as we've talked about in the past, because developer agreements are kind of only at city council and establish a lot of the zoning, but we still have to go through the process. If we have, it'll come back through as a PD zoning or whatever the developer agreement requires. So, long time coming, obviously. I know BNSF and staff are excited to finally have this done and the next item. So, and the great Suji from BNSF and Lance are here if you guys have any other questions or anything you want to talk about.
What were the recommendations from P&Z?
Oh, excuse me. The recommendation was to approve it, but require that the annexation take place as soon as the zoning and the planning plat are approved.
Okay.
And again, the developer agreement established 36 months.
Just a small acceleration.
I mean, I've been on them the whole time trying to encourage them to do it, but they have their reasons. And it was 5 years originally, if you'll recall, when we negotiated it down to 3.
Well, originally.
Well, there's 10 years. We've been doing it for the guy. So, I mean, if there's any questions I can answer, or again, the great representatives of BNSF are here as well if you have any questions.
So if we approve this with the recommendations of P&Z to have them annex in a portion of it,
I'm not an attorney, so I can't answer the
I
question.
know. Then,
They could agree to do that, I guess, because it's not reducing down anything that was in the deal, so it's,
So we
But if
approve
you
the
wanna ask
request.
them, they're here, you can see what they say.
Approve with the request.
Thanks, Eric. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. My name is Sagant Vascaron. You can call me Sugi for short. Representing BNSF. Very excited to be at this point. I've been with BNSF for 13 years now, 2 years in this job, and so I know when I came on and taking the responsibility of this opportunity to develop here in Gunter, very excited. And I know where we were at the time, 2 years ago. But since that time, BNSF and members of the city have continued to work and collaborate over that time in terms of working on a development agreement at the beginning of 2025, and then we worked on an amendment later in the year 2025. And so the collaborative approach between BNSF and Gunter has been apparent. The relationship has continued to grow and blossom. And that's evident of the groundbreaking event that we had in March. So to your question, about the approval with the additional, I guess, annexation.
The request, yeah.
The request. BNSF at this time we want to adhere to what's in the development agreement as it stands today.
Okay.
But with the collaborative approach that we have shown and demonstrated over the past couple of years, we're more than happy to have that conversation going forward.
I'm good.
So it's a no.
No, it's
We're
it's
gonna
open for them to have a
table
discussion.
I think it needs to be considered that they do have a signed tenant already that is in the ETJ. So I think probably once they get them established and operational, again, MDD, if they have other tenants out there that start bringing in sales tax, at least MDD captures that.
You know, the business has to take place on the property.
Point of sale, in most instances, we
Yeah.
hope are going to be established there.
Exactly. But if it's just a warehouse and it transports stuff in and out, then none of the transaction is done and captured.
So like the tenant that's there now has cores that they bring down by rail and then distribute from here to what they call the last mile or the last distribution point from it. It's not sold at the core, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not sold here in Gunter either, it's just distributed open down, correct?
I would have to confirm that with our customer.
Okay. Once again, we wouldn't be capturing any tax money from that. So. Any other questions?
But just to reiterate, we do have a standing meeting with the city just to discuss, have full transparency. If there's any issues, concerns, it's just an open, every 2 weeks just to have that further dialogue. And so again, I want to reiterate, as of now, we want to adhere with what's in the development agreement, but as we continue to have those discussions in the near future, we're open to have that conversation.
And you're not going to ask if there's going to be a temporary concrete batch plan?
No, not yet.
I want to make sure, because if you are, bringing the materials.
That's coming, Eric, don't worry. When do we have these open city, I mean, this is the
They're
first
not
I've ever
open,
heard
they're
of it.
staff and BNSF staff.
Okay.
Because we had some issues early on that there was more activity taking place in the city than we had anticipated, and then also burn piles and stuff, and they were letting the fire marshal of the county know, but not us, and it's our fire district, so that kind of spawned, hey, let's just go ahead and establish something at the mayor's suggestion, we have touch point meetings, and so that's what we're doing.
So that's why.
Just as we do with the school district.
It's over for a couple of
Yeah,
weeks.
I get a great view from my backyard.
Yeah, you get the nice little.
Yeah, and then Pat, he calls
Southern
and lets us know, and I go, okay, I'll put it on the list and tell Susan.
Great view.
I mean,
I will value P&Z's recommendation as well.
to have them annex in some land sooner than later.
So I have first runway to approve with the condition of annex
Recommendation.
the P&Z recommendation, and then a second with Pat.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Discuss.
Have any more?
With the annex, so it didn't sound like they were ready to
It doesn't
annex.
sound like
Well, I mean, deviating from the original agreement can open up doors for
Other stuff.
other stuff. Yeah, it's kind of my thought. It's, they're not, if they want to stay with the development agreement that we approved, then I don't have a problem making any amendments to it, could open up doors for more.
Well, does this revised plan development agreement include annexing in earlier?
No, it does not, because it's directly off of the developer agreement. They said they have 36 months.
But P and Z, when they approved it to have it come to us, they said, put in some extra.
It's a legitimate
Annex
wish list.
in X amount a little bit sooner than the terms that they've done. So we can get more of the property sooner, hopefully.
Well, I understand that.
So I just wanna make sure we're-
Ready to do it, what's the point of?
Just want to make sure we're good tracking, right? So we had a motion, and then you continued to want to discuss. Mr. Stevens?
Yeah, we have,
There's a motion in a second, and then we talk,
Open it up.
then we.
Correct, I just want to make sure everybody knows where we're at.
Then we call for the vote. That was my question. I don't understand why we would make a motion if they clearly stated they're not willing to do it. What's the point of?
And the recommendation is kind of superseding council's agreement.
You already have the contract zoning in place. I don't know how you can technically do it. You can make the motion, but it won't stick.
Yeah, because we're going away from the
And-
development agreement.
and
That was
being-
agreement.
Right.
You know, we were having a difficult time getting P and Z to go ahead and make a motion, and the P and Z commissioner that wanted to do it, I'm not gonna stop them if you're gonna do it. It's not illegal to do it. I just don't think it's functioning.
It's a nice try,
for
it's a
doing it.
good
So,
thought, I think for really saying, hey, let's try to do this, that's great. But we have an agreement that we have to adhere to, so I don't know that we can change that here, you know?
I'll make a
Does
motion to
anyone
amend
off
to
Mackey
ex-
Road have anything to say about any of this?
Well,
I don't understand all the
right now,
layouts
citizen
are.
ponds are closed,
But was there any notice of anything of this given to any residents on Mackey Road?
If you're within 200 feet of the subject property, you were
Okay.
notified.
the zoning, yeah.
And if you've been on Mackey Road, there's a lot of big land, so 200 feet is not.
It's property line to property line, so I don't know for sure where you live. I can find out from you and see, but.
Yeah, I would like to. That seems a little unfair.
Well, I'll make a motion to amend Wade's motion to accept the agenda item the way it's written without any modifications.
Okay.
I'll second.
Louis was the first, and Alan was the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah.
One. Okay, four, one,
I
and
will
motion.
oppose.
Okay. 3-2, that motion carries. Item 15, consider, discussing preliminary plat of BNSF North Dallas Logistics Center. This is the 943 acres, all of it together, right?
Yeah, this is essentially their location. It's just a preliminary plat of the entire 900 or so acres of the BNSF property. And so, once this is so you might recall, we did abandon some road right-of-way, that'll be indicated on this preliminary plat, and then they'll come in and do a final plat, but the preliminary plat was the thing that, and the fact that the zoning wasn't in place, the plat could be approved, triggered the lawsuit that we were in, so once this plan cleared that off the board, I don't know the legal term for it. Mr. Stevens said it.
Yeah, these two things, zoning and lighting, and then the non-state comes after that.
Yeah.
So, to accept the item the way it's written.
Alan was the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing you guys.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
I will say aye.
Okay, so that's unanimous?
no, I oppose.
Said nay.
Sydney?
Yeah.
So the floor
Wade's
one.
on for name.
You guys need to hit some buttons.
Yeah, I can't hear anything, but.
Well, no, I was taking my time to
I know.
think.
Well, I waited for you to say any opposed, and then I said aye. on that one. So I'll say nay.
So 4
We
to
need to come
1.
up with a different word, I don't wanna sound like goats on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. Number 16, just the property of vacated railroad your property insurance. It's yours?
No.
It's yours?
Well, they sent it,
Why would we have to approve GCAS? I don't understand.
so we had to.
It's a county.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the purchase since every city and county is going to have to.
I'll second.
Alan, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a loud one. We're a fast learner. Number 17, this is to consider resolution approving the purchase of rifle-resistant body armor, not to exceed $24,417.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll let Pat and William have this one.
Half of the first, Williams on the second, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you, guys. All right, number 18. Consider resolution authorizing the mayor to apply for grant funding through the MVCBA to provide financial support and then authorizing the chief of police to act on his behalf to administer the grant. We have to have a list.
There was some terminology that the state required to be in the resolution, and since she had started it, she's the only one that can go in and fix it and sign off.
So this one is
So how do we move forward?
dead in
She
water
can
right
write
now?
this one now.
She,
We retained it for 30 more days, so
Yeah,
that's what you can handle it.
Saying, so we can move forward with
Yes.
this?
yes.
Correct. Okay.
When the MVCPA gives out super hardcore about it, as long as it's roughly what it is. The basic actually use it for what the grant was for. So what the resolution is saying is the city agrees with that. It's not even clear if you can actually ever enforce it if you didn't. Whoever the administrator is for the city would be looking after that. I don't know if we have that position, but I guess we call it anything. But that's really what it is. But they're not like super picky about exactly how you write the resolution. As long as it gets to the point down that the city acknowledges that they're getting a grant, it's going to be used for whatever the purpose is. NBCPA does a lot of grants for police departments and different things. I think this is for, Danny, did you say this is for signs?
These are for additional message boards that will create analytics and data collecting in the future.
So these kinds of things, this MVCPA, that's the entity is doing, is saying
Make a motion.
I believe Danny.
An opportunity with Hemp Hill Towers LLC. They have contacted the city. Nothing on it. I think Captain Kramer is considered maybe in the future that be used for fire or emergency services. They've come to us. They want to put that up there. Basically, what it boils down to is that it would be a 75 lease from the city. It'd be a monopole tower at 2,000. And if they exercise that option, it would initially have a term of 5 years, and they're proposing $13,000. $1,300 a month annually. So that'd be about 15.6 annually.
Do we know what is it going to be a 5G tower?
It's a 5G.
It won't be quite as simple as I think
So
you're
it just looks like a straight
Yeah.
pole going up.
It's a monopole, but they're gonna have that. So it's gonna.
So that, or if we are leasing that tower, I have a question.
Yeah.
And updating the FAA for having a 160-foot pole.
That would be on them to upgrade everything on their side.
And then would we carry any liability should somebody run into it?
No, that would be, they would be having to.
Did we give you guys types of things are in there?
There's little things that we're hammering out right now. This is kind of the gist of it, and certainly you're able, I'll send everything to you and talk about it and kind of get back to them. They, right now, are suggesting that it would provide our better cell service to our citizens, which probably would. There'll be a long-term revenue stream for the city, which is always good. We've got a way of generating revenue. Otherwise, it's land now and nothing being used. And one thing that Captain Kramer and myself have talked about is that if we can piggyback off that tower emergency communication channel, that hasn't been done yet, but that is something that we can possibly do.
So right now, they needed to find out whether the city was willing to do the lease, because they're also looking at locations in the county.
Yeah.
And of course, even though we are the city, it's still case to do it.
And it's right on 121 and what?
It's right across from the bridges.
Yeah.
This is Bridges 2A right
What
there.
I'm saying is that that's a hard corner to be putting something in.
It's not a hard corner.
Well,
It's not on J.C. Maples. It's on the fire department property just in front of the water treatment plant.
Yeah.
So you guys just approved the easements for their water main.
Doesn't matter height.
Yeah, height.
Nope, doesn't matter height. That was.
Are there any safety concerns?
Well, I think we originally talked, we're gonna have to do all the windlads, all those things. We didn't want guy wires, but then another thing is there's no residential houses being be around there, so the fall zone is tremendous.
Yeah.
What about the microwaves or whatever?
The radio waves.
Yeah, the radio waves, are they?
Well, they claim that it makes really super athletes, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
So, we haven't talked about it, but if we go through the zoning and the land use process, then those are the types of questions we'll.
we own the property with the water tower, parking lot.
No, we do not.
That's most times.
I'm sorry, you see where the green kind of stops and it kind of turns into a driveway? Our property line is just right kind of along that, 30 acres. And then, of course, you guys just approved the easement for the 12-inch water main that goes across the front of our property, and then
That was already
It would
there.
be really nice
the
if
water,
that was
the
next
line's
to
not, yeah.
There. Yeah.
Which it should have been put in an easement, but they claim that it was done when the city still owned the system, so why would the city grant itself an own easement? Which you do, but they didn't. And then the gravel driveway, they're probably gonna wanna do a gravel driveway serving the 75 by 75 tower area. Because it's a gravel driveway going up in there already to the treatment plant.
Just makes
I would,
The spot isn't specific.
Preliminary feedback, right?
Yeah, what I'm needing is
Go ahead, please, William.
I want to better understand what waste about, so I don't want to make it tonight.
Yeah, and I would also like to have the citizens comment on this and give them an opportunity to communicate.
More dangerous than a temporary.
Okay,
batch
so-
plant or
so-
batch.
Well, I mean, it's written as a possible contract with them, so I mean, come to us with what it is that they're presenting, that way we can get the information that we're able to approve or disapprove. If we're
They
shutting
seem
it
that they have
down
a
now,
50 chance public comments and concerns and.
let's get the information from them.
Well, and that's why I wanted to create that ordinance. It was a long time ago, but after I reread through it, the attorney didn't really go into just no. They went into all these other lawyer words that apparently allows them to come in here.
well, point, I can completely understand. However,
Can you?
just go, well, yeah, I can, because if you go 10 feet beyond what they're talking about, they're now in the county, there's nothing we can do.
That's great. That's not, I don't want dirty money in town. If they're gonna do it, then they're gonna do it anyways. We've had lots of good stewards come over to us and say, hey, we wanna do this, we'll come into the city, but no, I would not wanna be over in the bridges and have a stealth tower or 5G sitting that close to me. Plus our ordinance also said if you're not being distance of residential.
Okay,
So-
so, I mean, last night you made a comment that, let's see, if it brings in money for the city, it has to be a good idea.
I didn't make that.
Yes, you
comment.
did.
What was that in referring to?
Something we were discussing last night, but I thought that was interesting. I'm not saying one way, it's y'all's decision. I'm just.
But no, that's not what I would say. So if you could find the context that I.
Point being, do I proceed to?
No, we don't have, I'm gonna vote no, we don't have interest for it.
Okay, so real quick, because I do have one person who signed up for this, I'm sorry. Mark, did you still wanna?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at it, didn't realize this number right.
Martin Merrill, 71 Mallard Court. I would say that you need a city attorney to look at this from the standpoint of negotiating the contract. How do you determine what the actual going rate is for these types of things in comparison to other cities? I had, when I was mayor, a major issue with, I believe at the time it was Speed of Light or Rise Broadband. They were on our tower here on the water tower. And basically, because I wanted to collect money from them when I was mayor, and I wanted to increase the $1,000 a year payment they were making to us for putting their stuff up on our equipment. And I wanted to get something that was a little bit more for the community. They decided they were going to turn it off and not notify the city of discontinuation of service to certain parts of the town. So I think it's very important that you understand that entering into a contract with a third party to allow them to do stuff on your land, you're giving up rights that belong to the city and the citizens. And you need to be a good steward of that. And it's not just about the microwaves or the radio waves and the proximity of the people, but what is the city actually receiving back in like kind? Is it profitable? Is it actually in the best interest of the community to do something like this? And for that, I really do believe you need to consult a city attorney so that you can fully understand all the aspects of it, because I guarantee you, if you all sit up there and discuss it, there are parts of it that you're not going to think of, because I didn't, and the city at the time didn't. You know, that's why you need instead of just winging it. So I would highly recommend on this one to table until you can seek legal counsel on entering into any kind of contract that they would present.
Again, we're not asking you to enter into a contract tonight.
Right,
Just feedback.
We don't have any legal questions at the moment. This is a policy question about whether we put radio towers in the town. And Wade's worked hard to make sure we don't have the radio towers. So we really need to understand the policy question about whether we're going to have radio towers or not. And if we are, what do they look like? What do we allow? And when do they come? Wade's put a lot of work into it. I don't think we should just put a tower in without thinking about it.
I agree. I mean, like I said, my is for you guys, hash out good, bad, the ugly, and then you guys decide on
Well, like you said, you bringing it to us to see if the city has an appetite for it, and my stance is why. And I know that there's a lot of other citizens that probably don't want it either. So I'm going to say no.
Two better knows.
Gonna
And
do
you
this.
want to give them some feedback?
Well, I honestly want to hear from the citizens. If everybody has an appetite for it, then that's something that we can consider as a city. But I'm gonna say no at this time until, or actually I'm not gonna say no. I want to hear from the city first. I want some feedback from the citizens.
Saying no, we'll bring it up on another meeting. But
Yep.
I mean, they can certainly bring a contract to us and tell us what they think the benefits are, but they're going to have to convince Wade that it isn't a bad detriment that outweighs the benefit. So,
And I'll get you guys all the information so you get a little bit more education. Even myself, I have to look at it. So.
Okay, so no action.
No, actually.
Let's go to number 20, discuss consider act upon Senate Bill 2038.
But excuse me, I'm gonna have to depart. Apologize to citizens, but I have to leave. But,
Thanks, Pat, you almost made it today.
almost.
So Senate Bill 2038 petition, this one was received from Michael Gunter Development. This is from the ETJ, received on May 11th.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, so we was
Same
first.
here.
Alan was second, all there.
Aye.
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 Can't do anything.
Senate Bill 2038 petition, 232 acres in Golden Border LLC, received on April 27th.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
William Allen, all there.
Aye.
Alright, that's motion carries. Number 22, discuss consider act upon finalizing the city manager's salary and update on the city manager's hiring process. Mark, you signed up to speak on this one?
Mark Earl, 71 Mallard Court. I would just like to revisit where we are with the current interim acting city manager, city administrator, Danny, and understand what we're currently paying and what the proposed payment in the future may be, what the actual cost of recruitment versus retaining who we have. I don't know if he's even put his resume in or put his hat in the ring for that, but he is currently in the position, and from what a very good job. Capacity here, and I think he's done quite a bit in the history that he's had in representing different communities. That being said, I want to make sure that any increase in pay over what we're currently paying is justified for what we're going to potentially receive, and that it is delineated and understood up front how it's being justified in an increase of over what we're currently paying for what we're supposed to be getting in the future. So I would encourage the council to address items in their discussion so that we can be fully transparent in what we currently have and what it costs and what you're proposing to move to that cost. Thank you.
Thank you. So, you guys discuss.
I don't know why this is on here, I don't know who asked for it, but I don't think we're anywhere close enough to pick this yet, we don't even have a job description worked out. So I'll make a motion to table this.
We have a job description.
I know someone posted it, but this council didn't come up with a job description, somebody did post
It's
it.
an administrative function, William.
It's not an
It
administrative.
is, and it's almost verbatim what Wade asked for, so
It was
you
not
both were in the
verbatim.
same email, we did what Wade suggested, it was a good one.
And you guys took and ran with it, but
Right.
it was just a suggestion.
Well, can I say something?
Looked at it.
And what I've been familiar with as far as hiring a leader, if you will, all over, most of those salary ranges are negotiated. They're really not a set number. Now, you can have in mind where you would like to hit with that, with a range, but in the end, they're gonna negotiate with you.
And that's what we're trying to do, is
Establish
something
a
to
budget
put
line.
on that advertisement, because we put to be determined on May 21st. So we just wanna, you guys gotta decide the range in which you're willing to pay this person. So,
Well, we also have to decide what the job description is, and we haven't done that yet either, so. That meeting. We'll do that when we get down to 26.
I'll second that.
hey, William, the motion to table, or the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. 23, action on, discuss consider act on a resolution designating the city secretary for the office of administration to apply for exempt weights and title transfers to all city equipment and vehicles.
Can I get one? Registration, Lisa.
All of it.
Making sure that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no, it's okay. I mumbled
Yeah.
too.
Friday.
Sorry. So what does that all entail, just so that I know? So it's all the vehicles,
Anything and everything. Yeah, because I've always, but then we came back
So
and
this,
finding everything.
this is a housekeeping issue.
Yes.
Okay. And it should keep, I just want to ask one more question, and it keeps you privy on what we have, so, okay.
Yeah, because I already do everything with Tim to make sure that whether it's property or vehicles or anything, or even the fence of the park.
Yeah, so if you saw like a boat come across, you question.
Oh, well, that's not gonna happen,
Right.
yeah.
Just saying, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Motion to accept the resolution.
Okay, will you move first?
Designating
I'll second.
city secretary.
Any for the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes. All right, so the council business executive session, obviously we cannot go. I'll be going to executive session. There are 3 items in there. Broken Road Drainage Project, I don't know how much, Adam, you can share. Do you even want to?
Can I make a motion to bring that out of executive session so we can talk about it?
Yes, as long as unless, as long as we're not jeopardizing the city for legal purposes.
Okay, well, we need to make a motion. I need.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to pull out
Into the open? Okay.
Broken Road drainage studies for right now. Yeah,
I'd like to make a motion to bring it all out because.
yeah, that too.
You can do it all at the same time.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah.
So William second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, Broken Bow,
This is the change order?
Yeah, but we'll do a little more than that. Let me show you real quick.
And Pat and I did attend the meeting at the Woods House.
Yeah.
To see. But it's on the other side. That's where this, from Dell's, well, underneath the road, it goes into someone else's property. That needs to be
Needs to go to.
drunk.
You guys
Dredge,
just keep,
dredge, whatever.
keep channeling that stuff in my direction.
All right.
I'll take it.
I'll turn it around here. I'm using my computer. Okay. There we go. And council, you're gonna need to tell me how far back you want me to go in this discussion. So, what I'm gonna do is go over this, but and now. Somebody, council wants me to go to do something. On the bottom line there, you see channel 1. Channel 1 is the original project. It is a 2022 project, maybe a 2020 project, that due to issues concerning the city was required to do. And so that's something we're doing now, is channel 1. You'll see, I'll just identify what's on this map. Swale 3 and Swale 4 are swales. They're not channels of the Linderman residence, which is 109. And they carry, just to let everybody know, they carry water from the property adjacent to them. They don't carry water from channel 1. The flooding that occurred did come from channel 1, and this project is to rectify channel 1 to restore. So when we were doing this project, and we started this project, we staked out basically which channel. And Bob here, easement, and I'll just go touch the screen real here. The original easement, the one that currently still exists, we're not gonna get rid of the easement, comes right here. And this is the original easement that was already established. This is Mr. Edwards' septic system right here. This is his house. And it would go basically right through his landscaping here. It comes down here and then takes this major turn because everything is centered on this culvert right here. It's to get to this culvert. Looking at that, I found that the water runs through basically what is currently the gold and dark blue area. It doesn't even go to the light blue area, the aqua area. So working with Mr. Edwards, I felt it was prudent that we move the easement over and create a new easement. And I thought that was a reasonable solution. Mr. Melton at 103 concurred, and we aren't going to get rid of the aqua easement because that's for Mr. Edwards to do if he wants to try to get that easement removed later. So we're doing work. I didn't need to come to council at this point. Just to say something, Mr. Edwards left. I think he did. Yeah, he left. And I think we have a good relationship. So just to understand that, I think in fact I've spent more time with him now than any person I've ever spent with in the city of Gunter since I've been here. So just a few weeks ago, talking to the engineers. Oh, and one more thing I need to say about this scope of project. So when it's an artificial endoscope. So this engineering project, due to funding, the scope stopped. Official stop. It was where just the scope, they decided they had to stop it somewhere. Okay, so it's artificial because of the side here. So it was stopped there. So what happened was, in speaking with the engineer, right now the water runs behind the engineer. When we diverted the water to the original design, we asked them what percentage of water, this is relatively recent, what percentage of water does the new channel, what does the percent channel 2B across the way? I said, it's my belief that you will completely flood 102 Broken Bow. And her do this project and then flood a new person. So we moved forward with originally just designing a ditch to go down 2B. But I was like, part of the problem is when you do drainage, you really need the full engineering. So it's a full-blown project by itself. But I can't capture 2B in the original project because the change order restrictions are 25%. So I can't capture this. But however, and we are sort of under a clock because this entire project has to be ways to irrigate it. And I need to do the project from downstream to upstream. So originally when this was done, 2B should have been done. And when that engineer said that flooding is possible, probable. Yeah. And so what I'm seeking, basically, I have to keep rolling. Alternatives are not reasonable. Here, and where you see items put in dealing with 2B, the new channel. And so when you see it, you already see the sod cost is $31,000. These are new costs. This would be for 2B. $31,000. You're looking at $4,000 for the compacted slope, and then you're looking for some slope excavation. But where you see blanks in there, it's because we extracted those from what the contractor's bid was on the channel 1. So we just extracted those numbers. But right here, you're already over $36,000. And the other project's original bid was $74,000. That I'm working hard. I'm going to work hard to try to see if there's a way without altering anything, floodplains or whatever. This is something, post this meeting, I would work on that because that would reduce costs immensely. The contractor has to haul dirt, basically to some off-site location, there's a factor. So what I'm looking tonight is a motion from council to give me emergency authorization to continue this process, include 2B, and allow the mayor to negotiate the contract documents that will include this project, channel 2B, and also any additional with Kyle Finley. But that's what I'm. Another 2 weeks, we are going to run into an issue from the timeline perspective of getting this done. It's already been slowed down because of those. Like I said, it's been a moving target this entire time. We've been very diligent.
So we have questions.
I have a lot.
Sure.
Wait, did you want to speak? Okay, come on.
Dave Self, 116 Broken Bow. So I think the 2B, you got to do that without. But as soon as you do that, you've got to look at what that's going to do further downstream, specifically to Billy Stewart. Because when more water hits that creek, and because no one is holding pressing, if you stop here, well, 3 months from now, you're going to be fixing.
Yeah, that's what I talked
about. And I can address
about
this too, real quick. You want me to?
Well, I have some questions. I think it'll address that. So you're saying you want emergency money to work on this, but work on what? Make a ditch?
No, to restore 2B, just like we're restoring channel 1 to its original capacity, we're restoring 2 as well to its original capacity, the way it was designed. Restoring it to the way its operating capacity was. It's designed to take it to the creek. What I told them, I also had a meeting with all the homeowners down there in the woods and concerning this project. And what I told, speaking with Billy and speaking with everybody in there, I said what I encouraged them to do is we are going to have to do drainage in phases. The creek, that is where the water is supposed to end up. But what I proposed would be in next year's budget to put more engineering funds to research the rest of the process. But this is one step, and it does one step at a time because there's limited funds. That's how it started. But this is more appropriate than the original project.
And the reason,
and the parking lot's supposed to flood. I will say
the reason we only saw that on his.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Is because it got cut off, so he didn't see.
Do you have a not to exceed amount?
No, I don't have that yet. I don't have. This is why I'm saying that it would be the mayor to negotiate. I showed you the price points.
Numbers that run 36.
I'm at 36 right now. It just depends on the cost of the excavation. If we don't get the sod down in June, then I'm looking at irrigation issues with the sod has to take. Sorry.
So, could you put that other slide back up? Yeah, that one. Are you saying that's what it is now, or that's what you want it to be?
That's what
This is what I presented to council. The dark blue and the yellow is now the way it's staked for that easement to be done.
And what did the engineer say needs to be done?
That those work right there. Right now, our current construction design is the dark blue and the yellow.
Okay, so those channels, the dark blue and the additional yellow, which is actually what I guess where the water went on its own.
Yes, sort of. Yeah.
So you're going to actually make a channel because that's where the water wants to go.
Yes.
And that's what the engineer recommended to have done.
Yes.
And then it's going to hit those culverts there.
Well, there's still what I'd call a detour. It's not a direct hit. And if you ask me, I'm not an engineer, but when this was designed many years ago to get their lot counts correct, that culvert should have been obviously farther to the west.
Okay, but we hired an engineer recently. What did the engineer we hired recently say to do?
Exactly what you're seeing on right now.
And the water will just make that jog and hit those culverts?
Yes.
Because I think you had mentioned at one point that we were talking 5 cubic feet of water a second.
Right. The limit would be the maximum it could handle.
And are those culverts there enough to handle
yes.
that much water?
Yes.
And the creek is enough to handle that much water?
Yes. The creek is designed to take this culvert.
The creek isn't.
But I'm saying it's what I said when I first got here, is where you touch drainage, where you start, you will continue to move downstream is actually where you're going to move. You're going to be moving toward Preston Road eventually.
This is why are we talking about this 2B part?
Well, sort of, but what I'm getting to is I wanted to know first, is it what we want it to look like, or is it what it looks like now? And then second, on those channels, who's responsible for those channels? Because it doesn't do any good to put these things in if you don't have somebody to maintain them.
Well, it's the homeowner's property still. The homeowner maintains these channels.
So after this,
I don't know, 5 homeowners there. What happens if homeowner number 4 doesn't maintain his part of the channel?
That is one of the things the city has to deal with. We have this set throughout the entire city. Both the Woods has easements on the homeowner. The creek itself is owned by both individuals. Majority of the creek is owned by a homeowner on one side and a homeowner on the other side. They meet in the middle. It's really their job to maintain the creek. I'm not saying at some point homeowners.
Let me ask you, if it's the homeowner,
Preston.
We approached them. We did approach them. I do believe there's new owners now.
yes, there's
When we did talk to them, because they were looking for, I don't want to call it a handout from the city. When all the woods went down, we talked about the design was not going to be done until the woods was. They approached me and said, well, great, you're going to clear it. And I told them, well, in your situation, you own both sides, so it's you that needs to. I don't want to, behind Preston Event Center, I believe we're going to, I'm aware of Billy's situation. I think we're going to address it through CODA, enforcement, and also just talking to the new homeowners, at least clearing the channel back there that causes his house to flood.
And if they don't, I'm sorry, I'm going to hijack this one. And if they don't, can we put liens or something against them to?
I can't.
Like if we go do it, then hey, here's your bill.
Start stepping into legal now.
That is moving on to legal issues, but I do think you're going to have to look for some alternatives that are a little more aggressive.
Okay.
I want to ask some stupid questions. Who owns the easement? Whose easement is it?
Well, which one are we talking about?
It's a city easement on the homeowner's
So
property.
if it's the city's easement, why is it the homeowner's responsibility to clean it out? Why do we need an easement if we're not going to maintain it ourselves?
That was the original, and when we did have an attorney, that was exactly that this entire channel system is being restored, and that the homeowners are responsible to maintain it
After we
restore it.
Do we know historically whether or not the drainage has ever been good? Has it always been bad?
It looks like, if you look at it, all these channels over time have just, here is actually the best area to look at what happens when channels aren't maintained. And I'm not saying it's a reasonable, Alderman Stevens, I'm not saying that in some ways, that's why I said down the road, I could see in the future as the city has resources that policy examined is how we deal with ditches. That's my opinion.
Well, the reason you get an easement is so you've got the right to go in.
We have a right to go in.
But what you're saying is the city is going in there. So after we spend all this money to fix these channels, if the homeowners don't go in there and maintain the channels, it's going to flood again.
And then it's on their responsibility.
Yeah. If there's no maintenance of the channels, if you're asking me, could this channel flood again in another 12 years? Of course it could. And it won't.
I don't think it'll take 12 or 15 years, but is the HOA going to take care of these things? Because somebody has to agree to take care of them.
It is.
What happens if the homeowners don't?
Then they can't come up to the city?
They won't be able to come back after us is the thought process. We're restoring them to the way it was designed to function with a capacity.
Yeah, and then that's why 2B was there, because that was not in the original scope, because it only gave one piece of the puzzle, and we needed to do the rest of it past Dell's house.
And that was the civil engineer's recommendation on 2B to continue the channel?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If you go to the end of channel 2B, like if you walk it today, you'll see what it should look like because it falls. It's basically the rest of the channel has become occluded. And the actual culverts, if you look at the culvert that crosses under Broken Bow, you'll see how there's where the water hits right now. It does, as Mr. Edwards said, push back because that's not. And so I all along thought that was the proper thing to do. So after getting that response from the engineer, that yes, we could flood them out. I've been in that lady's yard.
It floods right now. I got pictures of it. Even on a normal rain, without this done, it already floods her yard. So now that's not all water being directed.
Whose yard's getting?
Dell.
Dell. Okay,
So if we now get all this water west, so we could.
I'm asking just to get through this portion, and then next year's budget, we'll bring back the amount from the engineer, estimated task order for the estimated cost to study the next section of this.
Do you have enough money in your budget to do that second channel all over by Dell's house?
Dell's house.
When you say enough money in my budget, I think you'll go over and you'll be pulling potentially from reserves. Yes, I probably do though, because we're also dealing with Autry. That was $100,000 that was not anticipated.
Basically, if we don't do it, we're gonna get a lawsuit.
And this is something obviously that we were told by TML, our insurance provider, that must be done. And I'm gonna say if you don't do 2B,
we're gonna get another.
All right, I just want to make the engineer recommended we do that.
Absolutely.
And TML says we have to do it.
Correct.
So it's not something that we're not making up a solution.
No, in fact, if there wasn't a lawsuit involved in this, I'll be honest with you, Gunter has other drainage issues. We would probably not be doing this at this point in time.
Did this engineering study include the creek? Because my concern is we take it and then we put the water in the creek and the creek handle it.
No, that would be what I proposed in the phasing standpoint is I believe I haven't seen the budget numbers yet and everything, but what I propose is that the funding for the study moves forward. I don't see you being necessarily, it's going to be a council decision, picking up construction improvements for the next, but you could do the study next year.
I mean, you gotta get one or it's gonna do it.
Right now, that's.
Understand all the flood studies, the current standards for flooding in these systems is no longer today's standards. They wouldn't meet today's standards requirements. The entire system. But like I said, we are restoring it. The whole thing, the legal obligation we had was to restore Channel 1 to its original capacity. And in this case, we're now, because of the engineer's findings and me asking some questions, we're asking to restore Channel 2 at the exact same time with the same contractor who was the low bidder, to let him go ahead and do Channel 2 as well. Ideally, we really can't work upstream to downstream. You start your improvements behind the Lindermans, and the downstream was not corrected. That's why all this is the way it's done. We literally could blow out the downstream if it's not fixed first. So we're needing to start downstream, which is 2A, 2B.
That's why I was asking about the 40,000 not to exceed. That covers him where his numbers are at this point, or that doesn't talk or anything like that. Anything exceeds that, then we bring it back to council. But at least let's get this.
Yeah.
Well, just understand that if you don't have it, if it exceeds that, then this doesn't make any difference, and I'd have to bring back. I guess you'd have to say, I feel this is a very aggressive bidder, and we'll massage it for that.
And they've never.
I would just say, please don't put a not to exceed on it because it's an arbitrary figure. I was hoping to have that figure by this council, but I haven't got that back from the contractor yet for the
Okay, I thought those were.
that are missing that I don't have those numbers for. And hauling dirt, if I have to haul dirt.
Wade's gonna come get it, that's free.
Yes.
I'll take the price.
I've had actually homeowners in the woods. I told them what my due diligence is next week is to see if I can find local, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to talk to the engineer. My first choice is to, if it's not a violation, I'll be talking to the engineer. If I could contact the adjacent lot owner, there's an empty lot next to there.
Yeah, there's an empty lot there.
It probably would. I'm just with 2 inches of soil there, I could probably cover the entire lot and not even have to haul it off site, but I would have to have the engineers okay for this. They would have to look at it. I wouldn't do anything like that would affect drainage.
But if that doesn't work, I'll take it, and we can make a berm going down my hill so my backyard doesn't get flooded by the meadows. So that's, we'll put it out there in the cul-de-sac, I'll come down with the shovel, go get it myself.
You heard him.
No cost to the city. So, can we make motions, or I'll make a motion to approve it, to do the change order so we can get, it might just be just do it ourselves. So, but yeah, I
should be able to authorize documents that I bring to her.
yeah. So I make a motion to approve that and get that rolling.
So to approve the change order
Mm-hmm.
and to allow
Allow
us
you to
to
go into
enter into
contract.
contracts to
Yeah.
take care of it. Okay. So all in favor?
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Billy's gonna make it, so.
No, he's not, but there's hopefully the new owners will.
I think we're not dropping the drainage in the woods. This is an ongoing, as Mr. Self was saying, we're going to be continuing moving down the creek process. You're going to see that in the budget, the proposed budget coming at y'all this year.
It would be nice if one of them, Preston Center, whatever, the new owners, so they could just go.
This
down
isn't
the
off
back of the
topic.
property and-
I know Eric has worked
Yeah.
with a meeting, the area, the textile engineer. We met with the school today. The school, it ties into this, so I'm not going off topic. So the school has volunteered Tignall and Perkins, who they're working with on their projects, to arrange the meeting with the TxDOT engineer. And this is the type of things we'll be talking about, school issues and city engineer issues with the new area engineer. And that's everything from drainage like this, where it crosses Preston, to issues with 121 up near the bridges and that speed limit and the issues there too. So just we are working on all fronts. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks.
It's number B and C.
Okay, so number B I can do. C, this was something Courtney put in, she was working on the start, the beginnings of an ILA, but I don't have it. So I don't have that. But seeking legal advice regarding the purchase of emergency services equipment. So we did purchase assets, and we're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna start with why we were going that direction and why Cameron and I are working so hard to prepare something to come to you this year. If you'll remember, October 2nd of 2025, started our new fiscal year. We had the Emergency Services ILA that was on the meeting minute. I don't have my thing there. But I remember Cameron gave a presentation. Answer some questions here. Thank you. We talked about this. You didn't approve the fire EMS, the fire ILA of the county, but you abstained on the EMS. You didn't like it, and you basically told Cameron, we were talking about how to move this direction, and it positions us for a lot of things. Definitely better care for our citizens, but it's our only last piece of a negotiation tool with all the muds around it. Control, they have to and negotiate. So we talked about all of that. If you go to the October 2nd meeting, it's about 57 minutes in, and it goes to about an hour and 8 minutes. So it's a good discussion, a healthy conversation. And William, you specifically said, I don't want to be positioning, just go do it. Okay, that was your word. You did not want to do the ILA. You did not want the county doing EMS. We did talk about, well, let's just turn it into the city only, not the county, but then that got into discussion. Well, what happens if somebody, one of us getting a wreck across the street, or the house across the street, is on fire, we're not gonna do anything. We talked about our city's unique in the sense that it's not nuclear. We're not like a little box, we're like the middle box with the stars outside the corners. Y'all directed us to do this, so we started working on it. We got through, the end of the year. We met with the commissioners, because we had to get their buy-in, we had to say, hey, how do you feel about us doing this? Great. Great questions, really, really well thought out. We spent a couple of hours and we kind of worked through some of these things. And they said, yeah, let's go to the judge and just to Sarah, the Office of Emergency Management. So we did that. That was like, it was March with the commissioners, April, I can't even remember, Cameron, with Judge Dawsey and Sarah. And, you know, Judge Dawsey coming in, when he first came in as judge, had a horrible issue with EMS, very bad provider, and he's a little bit shell-shocked, you know, PTSD, when we've been talking about it. So it took a lot for us to earn their trust. It took a lot for them to say, okay, this is doable, and we would much rather work with a municipality than a third party. Problem is, with these negotiations, this needed to be in a closed setting until executive session, because Allegiance is literally cohabitating in our station. They're using our accoutrements. We can't. We have a little bit of a problem now. It's tense. It's uncomfortable because now they know what we're trying to do. So we would have been better positioned had this not all been found out just yet. No. I'm talking about the contract. We were bringing this to you, William. We just had the meeting.
You just said you've been talking about it for 2 months and you're just now bringing it to us?
Well, you directed us back in October, and then we met with the commission. Let me finish. We met with the commissioners. Then they went to Judge Dawsey. Sarah said, okay, in a couple of weeks we'll get a meeting. We met with them. Then we put a plan together. We started proposing things, staying in touch on a weekly to 2 weekly, every 2 weeks basis. And then she said, yes, let's move forward.
Right,
can you get this done?
You started putting a plan together. That's not.
Karen and I. Karen is the staff.
That's a policy question, and the people at this table.
You directed us to do this.
We did not direct you.
You did. Anybody can go back and listen to
You
that
have
October
mentioned
2nd
4
meeting.
people who are not here, and I tell you, I've talked to all 4 of them. They don't have the same story that you have.
Okay, well,
What
I'm
you
not
did,
gonna.
Karen, was you
we're not
started
gonna have
a
piece of
policy
that,
question
William.
that you didn't involve the council in, and you went
It's
forward,
not.
and you didn't bring it to us, and you kept it secret.
No, that's not what happened.
You just said you did.
I said we've been
So-
going this direction. Am I supposed to call you every time we get a meeting?
Yeah.
You don't do that. That's
Yeah,
not how it
that'd be
works.
great. That'd be great. So
Okay.
here's the
So,
thing, we decided tonight that we're staying with that.
Any actions taken were
It
illegal.
was, it's in con-
Yes, it
You did-
was.
What you did was wrong.
there.
What, you want
I
to talk
did.
about it?
I
We
did.
need to go there, but here's the thing. We decided last night that we're staying with the ILA, and we're gonna put a decent plan together that incorporates all of the parties that are gonna be involved by this, and we've got a plan to figure out how to do it. You don't just go out and buy an ambulance and say, we're in the ambulance business.
That's not what happened.
That's what it sounds like it happened.
It's not how it
And we don't know what happened because you did it without us.
It was coming to executive session to go over all of the steps.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
The money is, you want me to go back all the way to where this all started and how the money is restricted and how it's set aside for this purpose? We can go there. I'm not, William, I'm not gonna argue with you.
Excuse me,
So
but
I'm
this
gonna.
goes back to the same thing that I said. The
I know.
mayor was speaking,
What,
she
Cameron?
was trying
Okay,
to
I
say
need citizen
something.
comments. Everybody, please, close citizen comments are closed.
Yeah.
Cameron, do you mind stepping up and let's.
The question is, what are we gonna do with these 2 ambulances now that we've?
That is the question. Yeah, so if you want to blow it up and burn it down and just say, no, we can go sell these ambulances. But I thought maybe you'd want to find out what we're doing.
Well, that's why we asked about
Okay.
2 weeks ago, and you said no.
What about
No,
them?
give it to all of us.
We were doing that.
No. Give us what you got instead of preparing. I don't need the full cooked board. I want everything that you're doing when we ask for information. That's the point of asking
No,
for
you
information.
asked for stuff, details that we couldn't give everybody. If we give it to you and you, okay, I give it to 2 of you. I can give it to 2 of you. It's not fair to the 3 of them.
Then you
All
give
5
it
of
to
you
all
don't get it until they do.
No, let's stop right there.
Give it to all council members. That
business before the people get it. It has to be put on a meeting.
Any alderman can ask for information from the city, and of course the other ones aren't gonna have it when he asks. There's no such thing as they all have to get it at the same time.
It wasn't prepared for you guys.
It doesn't matter if it's.
We know
can have
what
The plan, or do you wanna tell us to sell?
When I ask for something, I wanna get it, and you don't send letters to Deidre telling her to not give it to me.
Yeah.
She didn't have it. She had to come to me to ask for it. She had to go to Cameron to ask for it. And you're asking for it at the same time Connie is harassing Madison for it. So,
What's
this
that
is why
got to
it
do with-
needed,
yeah, what does that
well,
have to
because
do
why
with
did, why was it even out there? We're preparing it to bring it to you in executive session. This is all blown up now. Everybody knows now. We damaged.
I didn't know there was any positioning.
Because we were bringing it to you in executive
So Karen,
session.
what you don't seem to understand is you don't get to decide when it comes.
I
to
didn't
us.
decide.
You did.
I didn't decide
You just said you've been talking for 2 months.
after you guys directed us. Go
No.
back to the meeting. You said, do it.
update. Like, that's just it. We do so many things because we have 2 meetings a month.
Right? We
You have
bring you
multiple
we bring
opportunities
you
to
new
bring this
business only in a properly noticed open meeting. And when you get it, they get it. Unless it's a restricted confidential document that is only an executive session or is unique to you guys. But I don't give I would just divvy out all this information. That's what was happening with the last council and everything was being hidden. You knew, council knew everything, but the people didn't.
Okay, so
Well,
you
so-
hold on.
Well, no, because
in
it has
your
to
in
come
your
to
mayor
you
alderman report
and them.
that you give us updates on, you
That's
never
old
thought that
business.
said, hey,
No, because it's
FYI
not new
guys, something
business.
that we said something back in October, Kramer and
Do
myself, we're
you
gonna
see
start
anything
doing.
on that report? If you're gonna talk about something, new business, you actually have to put it on the agenda. That's why I can't do it any mayor alderman.
But if you're telling me it's not new business, we said something
And why would I
back in October.
advertise to the whole world? Why would I advertise to the whole world, oh, we're gonna go into contract negotiations with the county, Legion's
No,
Mansion,
it could have been like,
everybody
hey, we're
else.
looking at potentially buying 2 EMS ambulances, and
Okay,
there
so
you go.
I through the
So-
timeline, it goes back to August of 2022.
I know, you love timelines. We're just saying, when we ask for information,
And I
you
give it
should
to
be
you
able
as
to
soon
give
as I
that
can
to
give it
us.
to you, and it was coming tonight.
Well, I want to go on the
No,
record.
your email says, Deidre, please do not release parts of information
'Cause it's
regarding
parts.
this matter.
It's parts of information
It doesn't
that
matter.
Did you buy an
It
ambulance?
does matter.
Yes.
Because it's
Okay,
not
how
ready.
much is the cost?
It's not ready.
It
Okay.
doesn't
You know what it's
matter if
gonna
it's
do?
ready yet. I'll take it in a draft
It's-
form.
it's-
You don't have the right
To
to
divvy
tell
it
her
out?
that I can't have the information. It's
She
that
didn't have the
simple.
information.
It's that
Because you
simple.
wouldn't
We
give
didn't
her
have
the
it prepared for
information.
you.
But we
You're
don't need it
asking for things
prepared
we
We
all
don't
the
don't need
time.
have.
it prepared. We don't need it curated. We need to give it
It's
to
not
us when we ask
curated.
for
Do you want to hear about the program now that it's out in the open and we've damaged contract negotiations? Do you want to hear it and make a decision based on moving forward?
I don't want to make a decision, but I would love to hear it now
Do
that
you
we
want
can
us to
actually
sell
hear
the
it.
Love to hear it,
units?
but
So-
there's no damaging contract negotiations because you didn't have
Everybody
any authority
knows.
to
Everybody
negotiate.
knows now.
Okay, good. Everyone knows, Karen. Yes, I would love.
That we're just now finding out about. Let's hear it.
Why?
So my goal is to bring unity to this conversation as opposed to any other perspective from your staff. Okay? Our goal, as I believe is your goal, is to take care of this community and these people and provide the best public safety possible.
That's a laudable goal, but it's our choice to make that thing. So
Let's just hurry up.
what I'd like to know is
The
what did you
information.
buy? Just tell us what you bought and
So-
what you plan on doing. with
So
it.
what I understood was you asked me for what the plan was and philosophy, correct?
No, just the plan. We just
No,
want
we
to hear
didn't ask
what's
for
going
philosophy
on,
because
please.
this table makes the philosophy.
No, I
No, they
understand.
said
I'm
the
asking to be, I'm asking to be treated with respect when you're talking to me, William, because I'm up here busting my tail for you,
Yep.
and so is the rest of this freaking community.
That's
And
right.
you're giving me the chance to talk to you, so why don't you do it with some respect? I'm not asking for that much.
That is all of
That's all I'm asking for.
Every one of
I'm here to deliver you a product. I serve this council every single day with everything that I have. Understand? So that's all I'm trying to be here and do for you. Now, that said, was this our best day? No, it was not. Okay? We could do a better job. There could be better communication. There could be better understanding. Was there a perception or understanding or belief that this was the vision and values of the community moving forward and this council moving forward? There absolutely was. Everything done in what we believed was the best interest of what y'all wanted? It was. If we missed the mark, I apologize. There was no malicious intent on my part or any of your staff's part, anybody that I'm aware of, to undermine this group right here. So, as it relates to the plan, it's simply this. If you want us to start EMS, to advance and to grow the ability to provide additional medical support, to provide more efficiency, there are more. We're prepared to take the steps to do that. If you don't want us to do that, that's fine. We'll regress, we'll regroup, we'll get it right the way you want it, and we'll move forward.
That wasn't what anybody said, Cameron. We wanted to know why did you buy 2 ambulances? You have a plan you want to put together? Put a plan together. You bring it here and you put it in front of us. You don't go out and act on your own.
He didn't.
He did.
He didn't.
Well, he
The
did
funds
with you.
have been restricted since August of 2022. Restricted. In the general fund, tagged EMS asset purchases. Okay? Well, I'll just tell you this. In 2023, in executive session, the county very first night, May 18th of 2023, in executive session, in the meeting minutes notes, it literally says, Julie Ford explained, Chief Commissioner came in. He explained, we are buying this box, okay? They approved it. It was $292,000. All the details, I've got all the emails, I've got the invoice. We paid Chief Kistner $4,500 for consulting. We were going down this path. I was told this money is restricted. This money, $500,000 from the water sale, is restricted specifically for, can't be used for anything else, only for EMS purchases. So, the box in 2023, $1,000. In February, the average cost of a box is $520, when I say box, I mean ambulance, $527,000, and you have to build them out. So it's going to take 18 to 24 months. Just let me finish. So you're talking about $500,000. These 2, we paid $77,500 for each one of them. So we got 2 for the $150,000. Immaculately maintained. We'll never come across this opportunity again. And because Sarah and Judge Dossie entrusted us to launch this, it's an amazing feat to overcome. The work that Cameron has done, it's hundreds of hours of work to do what most people take a year to do, because this is the 3rd time he's done it. He did it in Salina. Judge and Sarah had a lot of confidence in this plan, and they gave us the green light. Literally the next day, the ambulances were available. So that's why we did it. The money was already restricted. We were bringing this back to you. It's already restricted.
Who gave
My bad. We took advantage of it. Do you want me to sell them? I'm happy to do that.
Who gave you the green light?
The restricted funds.
You said they. You said they gave you the green light.
Oh, Sarah and Judge Dossie said yes, that we would be able to.
I didn't know they
They're
were running the
not.
city. Then
But-
why are you the green light?
Because they would have to fund this project.
The 5 people
They're
up here
paying
give you the
allegiance.
green light.
That's not what I'm talking about, William. If the county does not say, yes, we want to do this with you, we want you to do it, we don't want to pay allegiance, we would rather pay you.
Well, as I said, you have a
Then
very
that's-
different story than I have. Very different. Radically
Well,
different.
that doesn't surprise me at all.
Opposite different.
Welcome to have Judge Dossie and Sarah explain this to
So you're going to
themselves.
blame this on Judge Dossie now?
No, I'm saying that you were there.
Okay.
We negotiated
But
this,
I
they
think
gave us
the point
the
of
thumbs
this,
up.
though, and I thank you for the hard work that you guys put in. I'm not against this. It's the way that it went about is what the issue is. So I love how if you guys are going to try and paint us as like we don't want better of the town and all this other crap, stop it.
So, sir, can I speak for a moment?
No.
Yeah, because here's the deal.
I
Stop
love the
connecting
idea,
your staff
but
to doing what you want.
My staff?
We are serving
I
all
have no
six of
staff
you.
here, sir.
Pardon me?
I have no staff.
He is your staff.
This staff
I don't
serves at the
control
pleasure
anything.
of the six of y'all.
Great,
We do it day in and day out,
asking
exactly
me.
the way you ask us to. If we miss the mark,
Jesus.
we'll readjust as you wish,
No,
sir.
great plan. Just wish we would have been involved. That's it. Or in the know instead of having it be done. Sorry, and you know this as much as we do. We've got some bad here is being purchased that we. I am not against helping the citizens, doing the mess. We need to build the fire department, okay?
Thank you.
So
Mike.
please, you and I, let's lower it.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay.
I'm all for it, but we felt it's a repeat of something in the past.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Like we said, and like we need to start saying, we need more communication. I am okay, Karen, if you give me something and say, hey, wait, or hey, council, this is happening, and then it starts a conversation. As long as we don't get Toma,
Sure.
that's fine. That is what this council needs going forward, more communication. So then we don't have this, we don't have you guys thinking I'm trying to make you look bad or vice versa. No, we all need to work together. Like I said, I like the idea. I just want to know what's happening when it is happening.
Before.
Before, sorry, like,
I tried to mention, did I try to say just a second ago? Wade, we can do a better job, and we will. Every sucks.
Yes.
Need to make the adjustments and understand that we're committed to do it.
Yes, sir. That is
And I'll
it.
own that. I'll own that because when money's set aside and restricted already, I'm thinking this is a great deal. We're never gonna come across this
I
again.
get that, and it's just one of those, and
And then
here's riding the same horse, we're no Lone Ranger, we're all riding the same horse here. Other stuff, but it's gonna have to just settle down. But, yeah, I would love to hear what's going on,
The
right?
subject is, are we
Getting out of
are we
the,
selling two ambulances at 70, that
No,
cost
I-
75 and waiting 5 years for when they're 750,000?
no, we would love to hear what we were asking for, like, hey, just give us more information
Salina just
around.
bought theirs and it was 560 grand.
Do you care about an outside opinion about the whole scenario? I feel like the ball was dropped in the fact of all information that came about this was post facto. And what we have to understand is that we're communicating with this public. And we're communicating with them on a regular basis. If they come and ask us questions about something that is taking place, we're gonna be in trouble if we don't have an answer for them. And we're always gonna seek that out. And is buying the ambulances a great idea? Absolutely. I'm not familiar with pricing on ambulances and that type of thing, but that's the I entrust in this group to say, yeah, go for it, because I entrust in you
I appreciate that.
to do your job and what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna verify it,
Absolutely.
but I'm gonna trust you.
Yes,
It's-
sir.
And to add to that, William, Bill, sorry.
Bill.
Okay, Bill. Just like we did with the officers, the vest, there's gonna be no question. Yes, if it helps the fire department, if it helps the city, yes, I'm pretty sure all of us are on board. If it's gonna help the city, yes, let's do it. It was just, yes, to reiterate, we dropped the ball. Let's try not to have this happen again.
My bad. I own it.
And we communicate all together. I know there was a lot of other stuff going on
There was
2
a
months
lot.
ago,
There was.
but from here on, yes, we would love to. Because yeah, I'm not going to turn it down. How was the mold going in the fire department bunk?
Living in two empty ambulances.
Yeah, because that we all care about police department, fire department, the city staff. We do. We all care. That's why we're all here. We're trying to make everyone's life better.
We appreciate that, Wade.
So she owned the mistake. What do we?
So
where
yeah,
are we
we'd
going?
love to hear a little bit.
I did sign up
You
to
did
speak.
sign up for this. we've got time in the future.
So, Mayor and Council, thank you again. I'm glad that this discussion took place in an open forum. There are a couple things said during that discussion that I think need clarification. It was from the city council is supposed to work is you set policy and you allow staff to do the job. By that body, how do you expect them to do their job? I don't think that the policy was clearly stated. This discussion took place about buying ambulances and going forward with expanding the fire department and the ambulance service, emergency services. I was here. It's okay. I do remember that. Go for it, I believe was the actual expression. So when you set a policy, you held them to do that job. Do not get mad when you didn't give them the ingredients to do it with, when you didn't give them any other further instruction, and they haven't had the opportunity to come back to you with what they found. You're not a micromanagement board. You're a policy board. Allow your... The one problem that I've seen in this town over the last almost 20 years that I've lived here is micromanagement by the council. The division of the town is by the council. They have their own agendas. They separate it, and then they point the finger at each other when it doesn't go their way. I'm sorry if I'm calling it out and you don't like what I'm saying, but that's the history. It was happening with Doc. From the mayor to the city manager form of government, it got screwed up. What happened? You go back. You get rid of the bad actors. Instead of setting a policy and allowing the staff to do the job, you're either micromanaging them or you're not managing them at all in the case of Gibson and Chafin. So let's be clear about what we're trying to do. If we're trying to take care of the citizens of the town, I think what the mayor, Cameron were able to negotiate with the Office of Emergency and it should be applauded. You know, they saved the town $1.2 million in ambulance purchases. That's a pretty amazing feat. And William's chuckling about it because he thinks I'm crazy. But you know, the staff actually did a great job. You might be mad because the mayor didn't keep you 100% in the loop. You know?
Imagine that joke I heard the other day from this gal. She said, I saved us $500. And my husband said, what do you mean? She was, well, I was going to buy something that was $1,000, but I only spent $500 on it. So I saved us $500.
Well, that's nothing. What? Nothing. That's fine. It's not a joking time. Okay, so.
We are actually very proud of the last couple of months of just trying to put all this together. This is a partial list of all the things that have to be done. And Cameron was able to do in a couple of months what it takes people a year to do. The connections he has. We had backup plans on top of backup plans because we had to show Sarah that. 5 levels deep. Everything from our medical director, personnel, licensing, ambulance, all the staffing preparation, all those things. I was excited to bring it to them, to go, look what we were able to do for y'all.
None of us is saying that this is a process.
It's all quite impressive amount of work, but I personally, speaking for myself, don't want surprises. I want to know ahead of time. I do not appreciate finding out in the middle of the night, on a Sunday night, that we bought ambulances, and when I hear about it, I think, that can't be, that's crazy. Who would do that? That's not even possible. We don't even have a place to put them. All the planning has to be done to do that. And then you find out, not only did they do it, they've been planning it for months, and they purposely kept us out of it.
William, you go
So,
back and watch that.
It's not a question of
Video.
whether
This
anybody
is
did
the
a good
vision and
job.
philosophy that y'all gave us.
It's
So-
not a question of whether anybody did a good job, and I'm not gonna let y'all turn into that. The question is, it was a policy decision, and you took the policy and ran with it and didn't get permission.
Okay.
So
Let's hear,
if y'all don't
let's hear
mind,
more about this.
if y'all don't mind real quick,
Captain Kramer, thank you
if
very
y'all don't
much.
mind real quick, what I'd like to do is just make sure that we're synchronized real quick. Make sure, we as your staff serve at the pleasure of this council. I genuinely mean that. And we want to know what that is, and I would kindly ask that you just let me know. You want us to press forward, we'll press forward. You want us to provide you more of the action plan of concept. If there's something here that you want, or if you just want to pause and regroup and y'all talk. We're here to do what you like.
Not to interrupt you,
You're
would we
fine.
rather have this in an email form so we can see it and then talk about it?
Have what?
And what they're,
I mean,
what the information that they were gathering and trying to put together to present to us? And then talk about it.
because I thought the
So-
biggest complaint that you guys were having is that she bought ambulances without us
So we
knowing.
need to
That
either
was-
ratify it, or y'all need
Because
to tell me to
Eric,
sell them.
Eric has developers that walk in, they propose what they want. Eric puts everything together, then he brings it to council. Now you guys are saying, oh, hell no, Eric, you can't do that anymore.
But Eric doesn't change policy, and he doesn't spend $150,000.
No, and that's where she's already taken the blame for it. She's already said, I
She's
own this.
taking the blame. She can't keep doing
I
things she's not
so-
supposed to do.
Okay,
She's
I
doing
did.
it.
What
just
what
said.
do you want to happen?
So can I,
That's
can
what
I
I'm
give
trying
you,
to say is where's
can I
this-
give you a quick
where's the problem
snapshot
that
of
we
the
can get
seconds here
over
real quick?
this?
I would
So,
love
quick snapshot. Your community provides a paid police law enforcement component. Currently, we are ambulance services that are cohabitated out of this fire station. The city currently pays roughly $65 per year. The Tioga contributes 40 to that. The county contributes 400. It's a $500,000 operation that Allegiance is currently on a contract for. That contract is in the renegotiation phase right now. So it was a 3-year. It was a 3-year renewable each year. It's up for renegotiation right now and request to go out to RFP potentially. We were pursuing under what we believe to be the good faith of what y'all wanted, to be the provider moving forward after October 1st when our contract is no longer in place, and then we would absorb that responsibility and work to facilitate the maximum amount of return on that, to provide you a solution for us taking that process over to guarantee a better public safety product. That's the short version of what we were trying to accomplish. If we want to continue to pursue that, we've sent this stuff for licensure down to the Texas Department of State Health Services. We're waiting on return from that packet about any anomalies that we need to do to be able to provide that service. And we'll be able to tell y'all shortly whether or not we're licensed to do that, should we choose to. We have not chosen to do that. That will be obviously y'all's decision to decide whether or not you want us to do that. If you want us to pause right now and stop pursuing that, boom. I'll stop right now. But it's my understanding that that's what y'all wanted, that's why we're doing it.
So what we're doing, and I remember every year we're talking in the budget, we gotta re-enter into the ILA or the EMS agreement.
Yes, sir.
So what we're doing, and I just wanna make sure, we're taking away from Alliance, getting them out of here, and then we're gonna try and do the same thing with Tioga, Worcester, maybe Van Alstyne, to where then they pay into us.
Similar to what Allegiance is currently doing today.
Yeah, so we're gonna take over what Allegiance is doing, and that's
That-
my
that's what we're
understanding as well.
pursuing to present to you, that's
Yes,
correct.
and that's my understanding, because I know we've all talked about it every year when it comes to that time. So that's fine, like I've said before, I'm not saying it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I understand.
So,
I hear you. Just if you want us to pause what we're pursuing, I will absolutely pause. I want to do what y'all want.
I see exactly where the disconnect is usually you guys are putting everything together, and what's thrown in all the animosity into it is she did buy ambulances. That is the key thing that has blown this whole thing up. Other than that, it's
yeah, if we would have gotten,
we've been talking about this
I
for
would
2
have.
years. The
Yeah.
biggest thing that's blown all of this up and creating all of this problem is her bad. She bought them because they were a damn good deal under an auction and it had to be done right away.
For just a
Now-
couple of weeks, probably
Now-
have eye on.
and kept it secret.
Yeah.
She's already owned it. She's
Yeah.
already owned it and
Yeah.
kept it secret. Now,
Well,
where
'cause
do we
didn't
go
want-
from
We
here?
didn't want it to be out.
That's my question
yet
is-
because of
Well,
contract
no,
negotiations.
Karen?
No.
Bring it to
Oh,
us.
you want us to burn it? Okay.
No, what it was is, I get that, you don't want other people to know, and we're going around in a circle here.
Exactly. If,
Yes.
You know where the problem is.
If we would have known
Where
that it
we
was
wanna
being
go,
purchased just within council, great, we're good, continue on moving, there you go, we just at least know about it. But yes, Alan, like you're saying, it was, for me, it was the
It was the fact that
we
she
didn't
bought the
know, and it's like,
ambulances without going through the
Yeah,
council.
I got a
and
little
right.
Gibson reminder
That is the
here,
problem.
so-
Now, can we get over the feelings over a mistake?
I can, and I would like to move forward with it. I don't want to get rid of them. I just want to make sure we are in the know, not overly communicated. Trust me, I don't need an email
The
every
door's
day.
blown
but-
wide open. Where do we want to
So,
go?
yeah.
I'd like to see Pat be involved in it.
Yeah, well, yeah,
So-
that'll do.
We either need to ratify the purchases or we need to tell us to sell.
I don't think, me personally, I don't think we need to sell. I just wanted to know about it, because it does help the community, it helps us, and why pay someone else for?
I'd like to see
So
if
we
they're
need
in
to
a
have
lot
a
better shape
separate
than that
workshop
truck.
for you to present the entire plan, so we know what's going on. You know, what you've been working on for the last 2 months.
Yeah. Like they would normally if we
And
were
we
gonna
wanna
be
know
doing this.
what it's gonna cost to go forward, because you can't just buy 2 buses and then have them magically be ambulances. You've gotta put stuff in them, you've gotta buy it, you've gotta staff it, you've gotta hire EMTs, you need a paramedic, if you're gonna go that route. For all of that. Just because you go out and get, there's a great deal on ambulances, it doesn't.
Well, I'm not a
It
rocket
really
scientist, but if
feels
we're-
like you're
if we're-
talking down to me, William, as if I've done something wrong.
And you're focusing back on
Wait,
the
if I were working on
purchasing of
something
the
else,
ambulances.
if we bought something,
It's
it's an
over.
investment, we're gonna get paid. There's the offset.
But are the other people
It's an
involved in
offset.
it?
We're gonna have to talk about.
That's the stuff that needs to happen and should have happened before.
Before
you
we
got
bought the
insurance.
ambulances, you're
But
right.
here's the thing,
Put the cart in front of the horse.
ambulances aren't the issue as much. They kept it secret for
We know.
months.
Yes, sir.
I'm
After
just-
2 years of
I'm
talking
just,
about
I'm
it,
just as upset
now
about
we
that,
do
but I
something,
get
and
it.
now it's bad.
But now we brought it out.
Okay, so let's set
Yes.
get a full presentation on what y'all been doing,
Mhm.
and we can move on this topic.
Yes, that's perfect. So. And here,
We have one on
And talk
June
about-
18th, I think.
So part of the recommendation,
I think we do have.
part of the
I know it's on
recommendation,
that timeline.
part of the recommendation from the city manager process discussion recommended to you on June 1st to have a hey, how do we move forward, workshop that
Well,
morning.
that's right.
I recommended that, and I said I would recommend to y'all to pursue that. I don't think that that's been pursued yet, but that would give you the current closure date on the application is the 27th. That gives you the opportunity to decide moving forward. It could be a workshop on both if that date
Let me ask
happens
you,
to work for you.
how long will it take you to present the EMS plan? An hour to do that?
Oh, I don't even think that long, sir. I think if want to go about that without violating anything, and
And you have the workshops scheduled.
We already got one scheduled.
well, that's what we were talking about.
What
It
did
was
you
in your guys' timeline, but we never really officially did anything. I just saw it on a timeline to say, yeah, let's talk.
I could be wrong, and I have to go back and look at it. But we recommended one for y'all to talk about your applicant pool, to give y'all an opportunity to talk about your applicant pool on June 1st.
So we can
You can
piggyback.
piggyback on that, assuming June 1st works for you.
And once again, this is the communication I'm glad we're talking
Yes,
about,
sir.
because when you guys brought that to us at that meeting at the end, there was no EMS to talk about, so.
I understand.
So,
I feel your
okay.
pain.
I get you.
So
You guys made the comment today, oh, well, we already established that yesterday. I wasn't here. But I wasn't here. What I'm saying is you guys weren't included in me in some of the conversation of yesterday. But she said, oh, no, we already handled that, and then she didn't include you. I mean, we got to stop this
Well, then,
crap.
if you would have been here, then you would have been here, but the meeting
Could I
was
be here?
canceled.
Somebody didn't try.
It was canceled.
Yeah.
So, June 1st, 10 days from now, right?
So what day?
What was up?
Okay.
Pardon me?
June
First is 10 days from now.
It is part of the city manager process timeline for y'all to go ahead and schedule yourselves a meeting to give yourselves a chance to publicly discuss.
Can we do it on a Saturday instead of on a Monday?
I mean, in all honesty, I'd rather have it instead of us having council meetings. Yeah, I know, but, what was that first? What works for you two on doing a meeting to go over not only this, but
It doesn't matter. I'm available all You guys-
I have
you
to
do.
say that I'll probably be gone during that time because we've got a vacation planned.
the 1st of June, the first week.
That first week.
When are
Okay.
you getting back?
Leaving on the 30th. I believe, is that a Saturday?
28th
And
is a
then we'll be
Saturday.
gone that whole week, come back the next,
Well, the 28th, you're gone this month, the 28th?
It's the 6th.
So there's a June 4th council meeting. That's your regular meeting.
Yeah.
So we could do a workshop before. If we do that.
Why don't we do?
But that
Well,
doesn't
you're
solve
still
the
not
meeting.
gonna be
That's
here.
when he's gone.
Yeah.
Are you okay with us discussing this without you here? Or would you-
absolutely.
Okay, that's where the communication begins.
He's got my back.
So, I mean, we can do that on the, does that hurt our time that's set up?
If y'all were to identify those, so just narrows that timeline.
Can we do it next Thursday? And then Bill can be here and we get it done sooner?
Be like after working hours?
Yeah, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock on the 28th.
It's fine with me.
6 o'clock, so let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay.
As long as Patrick can also make it, then yeah. I mean,
So I would, and then with that philosophy in mind, we're kind of building two projects here.
Mhm.
The city manager process is designed to close on the 27th. The idea was that y'all would have a period of time to review those applications before you had that meeting. So if it's okay, Dietrich, with the process, we can develop a version of the packet that's 3 days early, and any remaining applicants we get after that 3 days right before the closure, we'll add that to you, because you're only gonna have a 24-hour period to review those.
We had response, including
That gives you the opportunity to make a decision, move forward on how you want to go about that. So.
Okay.
And thank you for your, I apologize for my intensity. So.
City manager.
Well,
To give
Discuss
your
it. Okay.
perspective of those applicants.
Okay.
and let's go on, so the meeting last night, it seems to be some controversy about whether those were effective actions. Let's put all 4 of those items on the agenda as well, just take them back up again, just to make sure there's no question whether we act on them or not. And then when is the next regular meeting? The 20?
The next regular meeting would be the 4th of June. And that's where we're talking about having those be on the June 4th.
And we're also putting, we can still fix it and get it out.
A little bit and.
Because I'm not looking for you guys, so I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, it was close enough.
There were a lot of changes that made a big difference.
Yeah, that did.
Well, so, okay, are we,
Are we ready for chicken nuggets or what?
I don't have to ratify the person.
You don't, you can vote no.
You didn't
For
have
me
the
to sell
authority to
them.
make it.
Can we do that?
That's what I'm
Can we just
asking,
move on?
which means that I have to
Can
go
we
sell
bring
them.
this back for
wanna
discussion
do
during our
more?
workshop and then ratify?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll deal with it after the workshop.
Okay. They're
That's
not
what
going anywhere, they're not in
Yeah.
freaking Houston.
So you don't have to drive all the way down there.
Yes, I'm not going down there to take you pictures.
Okay, I need a second.
I second.
No, you first.
No, I'm waiting.
I'll second there.
Bill's on second.
Any other needs of me up here?
What are we voting on?
What are we voting on?
We're not voting on anything, we're just.
To do the
We're
meeting
calling a special meeting.
Yeah.
Oh,
on
yes.
To do the
Oh, yes,
meeting.
we are.
And a workshop, and I had
On the
gave me
28th,
all the
yes, you're
items that were on the
Somebody
list.
Okay.
My
Yeah, I
vote.
need it.
My
All
vote.
right, all in favor?
Uh,
Is that unanimous?
That's
Or
unanimous.
does-
Aye, yeah.
On what?
C,
Which
yeah, there was nothing.
Yeah, that
We needed
was-
a.
No action.
Okay, got it. I don't have that.
And then we're gonna, 4 items from the last meeting, we're gonna do a two.
I added that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the next regular meeting, I have three things on there. I have 2 things I want to put on the next regular meeting.
Okay, so you're now talking about
We're on
today's
number
meeting,
26
number
now?
26.
Okay,
Yes.
Last one.
Yeah, now we're on 26 now.
Yep.
Yep.
The agenda to end the 5 o'clock pre-meeting and just have a regular meeting at 6 o'clock.
We can just cancel that if you want. Here, that would help, but we don't really use it.
We don't use it.
Yeah,
and-
well, and that's the other, nothing against it. When we started this, it was, hey, let's do 2 meetings a month because we got a lot of stuff to do.
Right.
So we would originally talk about something on the first week, and then it'd
then
be on
do
the
it on
second
the
one, and then deliberate or approve, but kind of had a lot of other stuff coming in. Okay.
The other agenda item I'd like to add is review, revise, and update City Ordinance 2023092101.
Which is?
The one that offers authorizes the mayor to cancel a
The
meeting.
one that lets the mayor think she can cancel a meeting that is
I
called.
canceled it according to state and local.
It's not according to state local.
We're almost done now.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Sure is.
You can't override state law with a city
We'll
ordinance.
put it on the agenda.
Gmail's that again.
That'll be a fun meeting.
Yeah, well, you know.
Don't forget the ethics.
Oh, yeah.
Put that on there.
What?
Ethics ordinance.
It's required by state law.
It is not.
By state law.
Yes, it
I'm not
is.
gonna have that argument with you. You bring me an ordinance and show it to me.
It's not an ordinance, it's state
You
statute.
said, bring me a statute and show it to me.
Okay. Can't talk. We're done. We're done. All right. I'm good.
Is that it? Adjourn at 9:03.